Yeah. Sorry, yo, that's Dom in the background. Okay, I'm gonna go live right now. See who's gonna join my live. But hello, y'all. Welcome to the channel. Rome with Romy. If it's your first time, my name is Romy, and I talk about all things life, culture, and love. One adventure at a time. All right, I'll see who will join today because I have to make this public. This was supposed to be a members only live stream. And so what ended up happening was that I'm having some issues with my members only stream. And so I have to go public just to make sure to see if y'all, if any of my members can see the post that I wrote yesterday. Hello, whoever joined. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the chat. So what ended up happening this week was that I have 3 membership tiers. And the one that's kind of like the Pathfinder, I have Pathfinder, Wayfinder, and Trailblazer. Now the Pathfinder tier is the, I guess, the most affordable tier. And originally it was just supposed to be like just early access to videos and just priority comments and emojis. And I decided to make it, hey, little mama, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a very surprise live, y'all. I was not supposed to go live on this channel today, but I'm kind of explaining it to my members if they watch the replay. So what ended up happening was that I upgraded the basic membership tier to include 2 members only live streams a month, and so I published it. Now the issue is that I feel like since I published it, that my members who are on the previous tier, they're not able to see anything. And so I've been trying to go live on my members only tier and it's not working. Hi Avis, hey sis, how are you? I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. Yeah, so if you are a member of my channel, y'all, sorry if today you didn't get your members only live stream. I promise you guys it's because I don't know what's going on with my YouTube. I don't know why it's not showing up the way it's supposed to. I just have a feeling that it wasn't showing up. And it's because I had upgraded the memberships. So if you are a member of my channel, please check your community tab and see if you can see the message that I wrote and sent you guys yesterday. I sent a message yesterday, which was January 17th. Please confirm if you received it. You can just let me know in the comments. Hey, Tyra, you see? Okay. Hey, Tyra. Tyra's here. Perfect. Tyra, did you see the live stream that I tried to post today on the members only live? Because I posted 2. I posted 2 videos. I saw the message yesterday. Okay, good. But were you able to see when I went live? Like I literally went live like 10 minutes ago. Were you able to see it? I think something's wrong with my live streams. I didn't see the live. Yeah, okay. I knew it. I think there's something wrong with my members only live streams because I updated my membership. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. Like, I really was like, I shouldn't have done that. It's just that I was like, oh, like, I just want to update it for the Pathfinder members so that they can get more benefits. And then as soon as I clicked that little button to make it live, like everything kind of disappeared. So I'm trying to work through it with YouTube. I'm gonna try again. Yeah, thanks, little mama. Thanks. I'm really trying my best, y'all. Like, I'm trying to make it work, but honestly, I'm gonna have to really see if it can't go the way that I want it to, then I'm gonna just have to pivot. Sometimes life makes y'all pivot and makes me pivot too because I really tried to make something more like inclusive and kind of private. But then again, we do have the Discord. So I'm starting to think of different things that I can do. If it doesn't work out, to be honest with you, I might scrap the membership altogether and then just focus on Discord. And then we could just leave it at that and just make everything more accessible. I'm still working my way around it because the end of the month is coming. So that's good. So if you have paid for my membership, I'm still going to give y'all content. So you don't have to worry about that. It's just that, again, I don't know why my live streams are not showing up in the members only chat. So I had to make this public, and maybe God wanted it this way. Maybe this conversation was supposed to be public. So there you have it. I promise y'all, I had nothing to do with this. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, and thank you guys for just letting me know the reassurance. Like, yeah, so I'm thinking about scrapping it all together and just being like, you know what, let's make it less complicated. I'm already on Discord. I already connect with you guys, and we could just keep doing what we're doing. But how do we support you on Discord, and what about the console? No, I'm still gonna do it. I'm still gonna do everything. So what I'll do is I'll probably just do like you know how some places have like those kind of like not Venmo. I don't have Venmo or what's it called? There it's called like pay something where if you click like I'll have my own website. Let's just put it this way. I'm building a website and I'm building so many different things. So I might just scrap the membership totally. And then if you want a consultation, you could just click on the website or you could holler at me on Discord and then I'll have like a professional, like, link or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, right? Where people pay. Yeah. PayPal, Patreon, like those kind of things. I'll probably end up doing that. I think I'm going to cancel the memberships. I realized that it's kind of a little complicated more than I thought. And then on top of that, like, I really didn't expect that whole situation to happen. Like if I change the tiers and stuff, we'll see what happens. But I've been thinking about it and I was like, you know what? I kind of want everyone to enjoy okay, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Let's talk real talk. So when I first started the membership, it was because initially I just want to be able to tell you guys some personal things without having to feel filtered on YouTube. So that was the main reason, real talk. And so, yeah, right? Right? Thank you, Tyra. Thank you, sis. Like that's why I'm happy this is happening. So when I initially started the membership, I was like, you know what? Like, people can just, support me and then I can give them content and then that's it. And so through the membership, I had created the Discord. And so when I created the Discord, it was just a community for us to just talk and share and all that stuff. And then once I started seeing how great, by the way, if you haven't joined the Discord yet, please get into the link in my bio, join the Discord because I'm about to make it like it's been so great connecting with you guys on a personal level. I'm still going to keep some of the spaces private for privacy purposes, but what I'll do is instead of making it members only, I'll find another way to kind of like make it inclusive, but not too accessible to everyone and just make it some members like kind of create their private chats and stuff. I'm going to think of a different way. I realize that pivoting is of the essence right now because once I started going on Discord and I started sharing with you guys, I felt bad because I was like, dang, I don't want to exclude a lot of people from some of these conversations. I think some of these conversations need to happen. However, I will still keep some conversations private on Discord. That's for sure. Cause I can't be going public and giving y'all, too much of my business. That's gotta be on the Discord. However, what I will do though is I think I'm gonna make up my mind today. I'm gonna cancel the membership. I'll cancel the channel membership after this month. So if you already paid, don't worry, you'll still get the content. Hopefully YouTube fixes the bug that's happening right now. But if not, what I'll do is I'll find another way to give you guys like really, really good content for my members who already paid. And I'll make it up to you guys for sure. But as far as the membership, yeah, I'm gonna just scrap it. It's been in my heart to scrap it anyways because I just feel like the Discord is really where my heart is at, and I like what's going on the Discord right now. I really love what we got going on. I really, really love it, and I love the fact that we're able to connect with each other and we're able to talk to each other, be around each other, and just kind of give each other positive feedback, motivate each other. I love the community aspect of it. So either way, what I'll end up doing is I'm gonna scrap the membership after this month, whatever works for you. Thank you, sis. Thank you. You won't your whoever spent money, don't worry, it won't go unnoticed. And I will still do the members only lives. I'm gonna try again tomorrow and see if it'll come up for you guys. If not, I'm gonna have to contact YouTube again and try to fix it. But for now, we'll have to work it out in a way because at least you saw the post, which is good. And maybe if I post a video, you'll be able to see it. Maybe it's just the live streams that are having issues. So we'll just go that route and I'll post a few behind the scenes, especially Dom and I are moving. So we'll do a lot of behind the scenes videos to make it up to you guys because I might not have access to members only lives anymore if it's not working. I don't know what's going on. There's like some weird glitch going on. So in any case, that's what's happening, y'all. So Yeah, it's been an eventful Saturday. Let's just say that, y'all. I've been up all morning trying to figure this out. And then when I contacted YouTube, first of all, somebody named Orange message. She's like, "Hi, I'm Orange." I'm like, "Okay," but she was very nice, whoever it was, he or she, and or they or them. And they just were like, "Oh no, your members should be able to see everything." But then it's like every time I went live, I just knew, like, I was like, I had a feeling. I was like, "Nah, I don't think they can see it." I just had a feeling like it glitched up. Or yeah, girl, her name was Orange. I was like, is this AI or what? But anyway, they were fast, so I'll give them that. But it's just that, I feel like everything happens for a reason. I had already thought about, like, I was like, maybe I should cancel the membership. But I was kind of like, you know what? People already like invested into it. I had already promoted it. So then I was like, all right, let me see it through. But sometimes, things happen and it makes you realize, like, okay, you know what? Maybe the direction that I want to go in is like, it's kind of like you think it and then you're just kind of like, okay, you know what? I don't want to bother it. So I'm going to leave it alone. And then it's like God forces it to change in a weird way. And so now it's like, once I updated it, it was like, boom, everything was like, everything started messing up again. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah, it's not working. So hold on. Can y'all hear me? Why this ain't working? Oh, it is working. It's backwards. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's working. But anyway, that was that. That's what happened this morning. So I apologize to all of my members if you didn't get your members only live this morning. But you know what? Sometimes things just happen. And I guess this was meant to be where it has to be public today. And I just want to make sure that, everyone gets their due and what they're due. Just join Discord. Oh, thank you, sis. I'm going to add you. I'm going to put you as a member in Discord. I will have events coming up. We're supposed to watch Squid Game today. So after this live, I'm going to be right on Discord and we going to watch Squid Game. Tyra, I know you were watching Squid Game ahead of time. I think you're done with season 1. I'm gonna see who else is watching it, because I know some of the ladies that watched it with us last week, they had never watched Squid Game before. So I'm gonna test out the temperature, and if everyone's watched season 1, then we just gonna move on to season 2. And then this week I'm also going to be doing a watch party for Love Is Blind Germany. Yeah, I'm done with girl. Not you guys. No, hold up, hold on, Tyra. We're supposed to watch. I didn't even watch season 2 yet. You you couldn't even wait for me. That's okay though. That's okay. I'm gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it together. You're gonna act like you never watched it before. Cause I've been waiting to watch season 2. Like I haven't even watched even the previews. How many episodes are there? I think the second season has like 7 episodes. And then the first season's like 7 episodes. So I'm just gonna do it week by week. And then yeah, so every weekend I will be doing Squid Game until we finish either the first or second season, or first and second. And then after that, we gonna do another show. Sorry, girl, you had me into it. I was like, I hate Does Netflix release the entire season at once or one episode a week? One episode a week, but we're so late because they had started the second season, I believe, the day after Christmas, and it's already like January what 18th. So it's possible that they probably just have like 1 or 2 episodes left and then it's done, or it's probably already done. I haven't checked yet. Yeah, Tyra, it's addictive. You know what? Okay, so I'm gonna do a deep dive into Squid Game and Korean culture. It's literally like a metaphor for Korean culture, literally. So it's like the competitiveness and the dog eat dog, like, you unalive me, I'm gonna unalive you. It's like that in society. I feel like Netflix in the past used to just release an episode a week, but maybe now they just drop it all at once. They actually, I find the opposite. I feel like now they just do 1 episode a week. I don't think they drop it all at once anymore. I remember they used to drop like Love Is Blind. Like I remember like before they used to drop all the episodes, but I could be wrong. But now they do like per week, and then they be dragging it sometimes. Sometimes they be dragging the shows. Yeah, I was thinking that too. Now I'm just in love with Jung Jae. Yeah, he's good. He's a great actor. You should see his interview on the Jennifer Hudson's show. It was really, really good. Oh, they do it all at once now? Okay, so maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's the opposite. Yeah, and now Netflix has the nerve to have ads. Okay, so now they drop it all at once. I didn't know that. I'm so used to them dropping it like episode by episode. But yeah, they have ads, girl. They trying to make their coin. They trying to make they. Oh, you saw it? It was such a. I like the tunnel because you know Jennifer Hudson's show has the tunnel when you go in, and then they like sing a song. Like they did one for Aaron Pierre, like Aaron Pierre, that's Mufasa. That was a good one. And then with E Jung Jae, they did Annyeong Haseyo E Jung Jae. I thought that was so cool. Yeah, they said hello in Korean. Yeah, they did. I thought that was so cute, and it just shows how little cultural connections can make a big difference. Speaking of cultural connections, before we get on the topic, I was going to talk about well, I am going to talk about the self-deprecation in East Asian culture, and trust me, it's going to be a good one. But before I talk about that, I want to talk a little bit about my therapy session because I don't think I've given you guys an update on my therapy sessions, and they're going well. I've had 2 sessions with this specific therapist, and everything is pretty much good. Like, I feel like going to therapy has really helped me a lot. Oh, you said thank you, thank you. No, thank you, sis, for joining and for always supporting me, sis. It's all love over here, and thank all of y'all. By the way, I really love connecting with y'all for real, for real. I think y'all thought I was joking when I said I was gonna be all up in the Discord. I really be up in there. How do you like the therapist? She's nice. She's very sweet. I think that for me, it's just so strange. Is she a good match? Yeah, I think she's a good match in the sense that like she gets me to think of things like from another perspective, which I never thought of. Like for example, this week we were talking about just kind of cultural differences as far as like our communication style, because Dom and I, it's no secret, we always struggle with communication, and I never realized it because I mean, I did at first, but I thought it from a different perspective. But now that I've been doing these like cultural like videos and researching, because the research, oh, you talking about Singles Inferno? We could do that show. You talking about the Netflix show? Sis, you gotta tell me, is it Singles Inferno? We're gonna watch that. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. We're gonna watch that. But I know that I think Phyllis had recommended Love is Blind Germany, so I'm gonna get through that. And then Singles Inferno is gonna be after that. So yeah. Oh, I'm gonna be watching a whole bunch of shows. And then also what I will do too is I think I won't just make it my watch party, but I'm gonna let you guys host watch parties too. So like for example, oh no, I think I didn't even see how you spelled it. So I understood what you said. So yeah, you know what? I think that's what I'm going to do on the Discord. I'm going to make it open where you guys can also have your own watch parties. And so that way you don't have to wait on me to host a watch party. You guys can do it yourselves too. Like if you want to host Singles Inferno, you can more than welcome to do it yourselves. I might just do like one person a week or something, or I'll figure out a way to do that. I'll actually work on that tonight to make it more like, like I guess fair and equitable, because I don't want people to just open up every channel and just be able to do it. But it'd be nice to like if you guys could host watch parties too throughout the week, or maybe I'll let you guys have access to it, like because I know you guys, right? So especially those who I know very well, then I'll give you guys access to be able to host your own watch parties. So I'm gonna look into that. Okay, I'll definitely update you guys on the Discord to see if that'll happen, so that way you don't have to wait for me, because your girl be busy sometimes, and because I'm moving and all that stuff, it'll just be really difficult for me to keep with the time, like keep a timeline, like specific one. But it'd be nice like if we could watch different shows, and then that way you don't have to wait for me, and we can just hop in and kind of watch it together when we have time. But yeah, so when I met with the therapist, like she really had me see things from a different perspective, because Dom, he knows English, right? So he speaks English very well. He's an advanced English speaker. And so in my mind, I'm like, you speak English, so everything's fine, like we can communicate. But actually in communication is not just knowing the language, it's understanding the nuances and understanding what's behind the language. And so even though Dom speaks English, he doesn't know cultural nuances. So to him, if I say something, he might take it in a totally different way. And so I realized that my tone when I'm speaking English sounds very like, because in English we speak very matter of factly, we speak very directly, right? English is just a direct language. That's just how it is, right? So usually, like when we talk about emotions, we just have a few words for emotions. We have like, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry, right? Yeah, it's so true. With language so complex, Tyra is very complex. I've heard people say that when they speak several languages, things hit different when it's in their mother tongue. Absolutely, it is. It's different. And also, I learned linguistics because I got the TESOL certification. So I knew that in theory. But then, when you're in love with someone, you just kind of forget those kind of things a little bit. And you know that they're from a different culture. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, he speaks English, so it's fine. Like, he can understand what I'm saying. But no, he can't. He can understand what I'm saying, but he can't understand the meaning behind what I'm saying, right? And so also one thing to note in Korean, because when I had to learn Korean, they have like an extensive vocabulary for emotions. Just letting y'all know that. So Koreans have an extensive vocabulary for emotions. They don't just have a few words. Like many words mean different. Like every single word means something different. They have different emotions. Like it's extensive. And also the way they talk to each other is very more like gentler. Like so if you're speaking to a Korean person, your tone is usually like 안녕하세요, like that, right? 안녕하세요. Like you sound like more like kind of like submissive, right? Or like kind of like you put the speaker in a higher level than yourself. And they speak very like tonal, like like that. Whereas in English, we're more like, yeah, no, okay, yes. So we'll just say, how are you? Right? We don't go, how are you? Like, I mean, some people do to children, but you don't go up to someone and be like, hi, how are you? Like, I mean, you do, but like normally, like on everyday level, you're not gonna talk to that. That's usually the first time you meet someone, right? But then if you're friends with someone or you're married to someone, you're not gonna walk up everyone, how are you, honey, this morning? Like, you're not gonna do that, right? You're just like, hey, how are you? Right? Whereas in Korean, it's like, oh, 잘 지냈어? You know what I mean? 잘 지냈어요? Like that, right? And so I realized that for him, he would think that I would be angry sometimes or upset just by the tone. And I'm like, nah, I'm just normal. I'm just regularly telling you, like, I don't want, like, like I'm just talking just normally. But for him, he sees it that, are you upset with me? Are you angry with me? Did I do something wrong? And so I realized how strong cultural context is and the nuances of a language and how you speak to someone. I think I sound whiny when I speak in Korean, lol, is the lack of confidence I have in the language. No, I mean, Korean is, I don't want to say that in a rude way, but it is kind of a whiny language, though. I don't want to say that, but it's true. It's like, oh, especially when they do egyo and all that stuff, right? But it's like, it's naturally a language where you have to sound like you're like very happy and airy and always like you don't sound monotone basically, whereas for other languages you have, you know what I mean, you can sound monotone, right? And so same thing with Mandarin. Like when people speak Mandarin, you always think they're angry and they're not angry. That's just how they sound. You could hear someone speaking Mandarin, and if you don't understand Mandarin and the cultural context behind it, you're gonna be like, dang, why she mad at her man? Or why she's just talking. That's just how they talk. That's how they communicate. And it's just a natural way of communicating, right? And so and other languages too. You can even go into some other languages. And so I realized that with Dom, he's used to different types of style of speaking, especially in the house and when you're talking to each other. And so while I was in therapy, she kind of brought it up to me where it made sense. And I was like, you know what, that's true. Like maybe it's just the context of the language that's causing us to misunderstand and have these miscommunications that we have. And so this brings me to my point is that I realized that I gotta learn Korean, y'all. I gotta learn Korean again. I've been slacking. I stopped, and now I need to pick it back up. Little Mama said, "I wonder if it's okay to use informal speech with a spouse." I've heard some people say they don't. I can ask them right now. Hold on. Can you use informal speech with your spouse? Like, if we are like, it could. Do I have to speak Nopimal to you if I'm your spouse, or we could just talk to each other regularly in Korean? Like if you're a married couple in Korean, do you speak to each other like the casual chondemal or nopimal? You can speak both? Okay. But if we're the same age though, like we just speak chondemal? Oh, nopimal? What do we speak then? How do we speak to you? Just normal. Okay. So I don't have to speak hierarchy to you because we're the same age. Yeah. So it depends on the age of the person. So if your husband's older than you, then you kind of use both styles. So it's the hierarchical style and the regular style, or the chondema, like the lower language style. And then if you're the same age, like Dom and I are born the same year, so then we can just speak casually to each other. Yeah. Yeah. That's how. And then with parents, like, for example, some people call their mother-in-laws omonim and abonim for mother and father-in-law, but my mother-in-law and father-in-law, they don't care. They just told me call them oma apa, so I just call them oma apa. But actually, if you marry a really traditional Korean family or marry into one, you should call them omonim and abonim. You said like no, because the person I mentioned in my story time in the Discord, I do mixture, but they never grow me for that. You got, hold on, little mama, you updated the story. I didn't even get to see that. Hold on, I'm gonna have to check the Discord. Hey, at the Deb Studio, how you doing, sis? Hold up, I feel like I missed a few chats in the Discord. I had to train somebody this week, so usually at work, like I have time to kind of like when I have downtime, I kind of check my phone and stuff, but yeah. I know her name on Discord. I know her name. Don't worry. Wait, little mama, don't say it here. Say it in the Discord. I know her name. I know who she is. I didn't update it. It was a long conversation. Oh, okay. That's what I thought. All right. So yeah. So all of that to say, yeah, I'm gonna learn Korean this year. I'm gonna make an effort. We had like a lot of chats. That's why I said I love the Discord. So at the Dev Studio, catch the replay for sure. What I said was that I'm going to cancel my channel memberships. I realized that I don't know, like I just feel like Discord is enough for me. Hey, I create her creative mind. I think Discord is enough for me, and I want to connect with you guys more so on that level. And then we'll keep the public channel for like all the lives and everything. And then anything I can't say in public, I'll keep it in the Discord, and we'll just make it simple. And that way information will be accessible to everyone. And I won't have to gatekeep or, yeah, I felt a little weird doing that too for a little bit. Because I realized at the Discord I can actually share freely. And then I was like, well, then I don't need the membership anymore. So we could just cut it off. So, sorry, that's what's going on. So yeah, hey y'all. All right. So let's continue now. It's already 27 minutes. That means we got to get to our topic because I don't want to stay too long. And then I might go live tomorrow, may or may not. Because since I'm going live today, I usually do the members only live stream on Saturday and then go public on Sunday. But I think since we're going public on Sunday, we'll see. We'll see how I feel tomorrow. So we're gonna get to the topic. Yeah, we're gonna get to the topic. So let's get into it. Now, I have posted a video. Tuesdays is educational Tuesdays, and I usually post a video that's educational. Usually it's pretty dry. I don't really try to be too like complex in my little videos. It's just to give you guys an idea of the term that I'm going to be doing my lives on, or what we're going to be talking about or discussing this week. This week's topic was self-deprecation. In case you haven't watched a video, I would highly recommend you do that. I know my mic was super low in that video, so apologies. But guess what, y'all? Hold on before I start. Guess what, y'all? Your girl done got equipment. I got me a little selfie stand here. Thank you to my husband and my man. Thank you to my man. Then I got my new camera here. It's up and running now. And then guess what, y'all? Guess what your girl got now? Your girl done got a mic for the camera. I done got a mic. So now when I do my videos on this camera, it's going to be crispy. The sound is crisp. Thank you, sis. Thank you. It's crisp. So the videos gonna be good. Yes. I'm telling y'all, next week is the last video of this series of harmful habits. Then after that, we going into dating, y'all. February's finna be litty. It's a Sony ZV-1 camera. It was on sale at Best Buy. I don't know if it's still on sale. They had like a Boxing Day sale. So after January, I'm gonna cancel all the channel memberships, and then I'm going to make everything accessible to everyone except the juicy stories we keep on Discord only. So Discord is where I'll share my real real thoughts and opinions. We keep it PG-13 here, and over there we keep it rated R. It's gonna be rated R, PG-13. Nothing is off limits. So Discord is where it's at if you want to see the real stuff. Not mean. And yeah, LOL. I already shared too much. Girl, I overshared too, child. Remember, I done told y'all about my anyway. I told y'all about the time I got flued out. Curious question: did you have to do the ancestral ceremonies with your husband's family? Oh no, that's not a problem. I can answer that, sis. You said there's even more I haven't spoken about. Girl, we all Discord. I'll be sharing. I'll be telling y'all everything. I done told y'all I got flued out when I went to Portland that one time. That was a crazy experience. Oh boy had money though. I ain't gonna lie. He was paid. He treated your girl right. I'll say that. Lock that. Yeah, I'm gonna lock it. I'm gonna lock it. But this time again, because I'm canceling the channel membership. So this time I will lock it, but I will let a few members come in, and then you just have to let me know when you want to join the channel. Got it. LOL. I'm gonna keep the shade for the Discord. That's how we gonna do it from now on. From now on, after the channel memberships expire, it will all the tea, everything's gonna be on Discord. We just gonna keep it simple. Everything tea, Discord, YouTube membership for all the videos and stuff we could talk about live. And Avis, sis, to answer your question, no, I did not have to do those ceremonies because my husband's family is Christian. And Christian's family do not believe in venerating ancestral worship like that. Like we'll go to the gravesite because I did post a video where after my wedding we went to go visit his grandparents' grave so they could meet me as his wife. Like we visit our the graves of ancestors just to kind of like I guess pay homage to them, but we don't do the whole like ancestral ritual because yeah, it's just not something that Christians kind of promote. And so it's mostly for families who are more traditional and non-religious. They usually do it. Yeah. So yeah, so it was we did go see his grandparents. His dad was really adamant about it. Those were his dad's parents, and he wanted us to visit them from a long time ago. But I think once we got married, it was like, okay, you're really officially part of the family, like for real, for real. And so they had me meet his grandparents on his dad's side. And then y'all remember his grandma. I had a relationship with her. I even had her in my videos. She passed away recently, but I had already met her. And yeah, so I've met pretty much his grandparents in spirit and in the flesh. So yeah, so to answer your question, no, I didn't have to do it. I didn't have to do chade. Actually, my mother-in-law is very extremely such a good woman. Like honestly, I never even told y'all, like, you know what? Okay, let's share this tea before I go into the live real quick. Hold on, let me check how much battery I got before I'm sitting here yapping. Cause last time y'all, your girl almost I almost had a problem with y'all because my battery almost died and I didn't even realize I had ended my life just in the nick of time. My battery was about to die out. I was about to go out. But anywho, his mom, when I first met his mom, we had dinner. We went to this really fancy beef brisket restaurant. I don't remember, but it was that food was banging. But anyways, we went together, and it was the first time I met his mom, like before Solal. So I met his mom for like a dinner or something, and his mom and his dad. His dad, let me tell y'all something. His dad was with it from day one. Like his dad did not care. He didn't care. He was like, okay, you're nice, you're pretty, you're smart. Okay, good. He didn't care. But his mom was a little nervous. And the reason for that is what Dom ended up telling me was it's because one, I'm a foreigner. And two, she wanted to know how I would integrate into the family. And so because I'm a foreigner, she was worried because for her, she was worried about me divorcing. Because for her, she was like, we don't believe in divorce. That's the first thing she said. She was like, you seem like a really sweet girl. So I'm happy now that I've met you. I feel really like comfortable with my son dating you. I think you're a very beautiful woman. And then she said that because he hyped me up. Like, honestly, you're like, if you end up dating an Asian guy, your guy has to do the homework of hyping you up to his parents. Like, he hyped me up real well. He was like, oh, she's, she went to Iwa and she's very smart, she's very beautiful, very kind, and then she knows a bit of Korean. He told him I know level 3, but yeah, barely. I was barely scratching the surface. But anyways, he was like, yeah, like, she's willing to learn our culture. But it's all talk until you meet the parents, right? So then eventually I did meet her, and then once I met her and grandma and dad, they were like, okay, they were sold. I think I did a story time about that. If you go way back in my channel, I said meeting my in-laws for the first time, they were sold. But then after that, that's when the serious questions came, because she wanted to know, like, if I was there just to, explore or experience her son, or is it like, am I serious about him? That's all she wanted to know. Do you believe in divorce? Are you serious about him? And will you fit into this family? Those 3 things. And after 5 years, I have proven myself very well. And my mother-in-law loves me to death. And she always, like, you can tell she's so appreciative of the fact that, I was able to hold my commitment and, be able to be with her son. And her son is happy with me. So I think for her, and she did say that, as long as my son's happy, I'm good. But if my son ain't happy, we got a problem, girl. Yeah, some people are like that. They are just there to play. Yeah, she said that. And she was very serious with me. She was like, how serious are you about my son? Do you believe in divorce? And I was like, no, and again, if you grew up in a household where your parents weren't married, do not take that as like, oh, you can't be serious. You just have to prove to them that you are gonna see the long haul, right? But in my case, yes, my parents are still together. And I just was like, look, like, personally speaking, even if my parents weren't together, I'm just the type of person, like, if I make a commitment, I really make a commitment, like, for real. Like, I'm not about to leave and do whatever. And I think that's why it took me so long to get married, because I knew that I had to be super picky about who I was going to spend the rest of my life with, because ain't no turning back, ain't no turning back for me. I gotta be super picky, because I'm not going to get married just to get married. I'm getting married for the long haul. So I gotta be with somebody who's going to match me, you know what I mean? And somebody I can see the rest of my life with, because I'm not about to quit on this, you know what I mean? Yeah, because marriage is something you shouldn't just get into if you aren't ready to do the work. Hold on. It's not about the wedding and ring. Amen, Tyra. Exactly. It's not about it. And when I took my time, and people were like, oh, you're too picky. I'm telling you, people were telling me my standards were too high and that I should just let my standards down. I was like, nope, I'm not going to. Yeah, you're stuck with me for life. That's right. Because I'm like, look, if I'm going to be like, I'm the type of person, I take my vows very seriously, because I'm not only doing the vows in front of me and my husband, but I feel like it's in front of God too. And for me, that's super duper serious. Like, if I'm going to say something and make a promise, I'm really going to stick to it. I'm very loyal like that. Loyal to a fault, unfortunately. I'm really loyal. And so that's why when I used to get into the wrong relationships, in the wrong friendships, I noticed that I was being loyal to the wrong people. But that's not a bad thing to be loyal to people. It's just a bad thing to be loyal to people who don't deserve it. Don't deserve it. And so I knew getting married, I was like, if I don't find the person for me and that fits my standards, then I guess I'm gonna be single. That's just how I approached life. I didn't care. I'm telling y'all, I got to the point where I was like, you know what? It is what it is. And if I'm meant to be single, then I'm meant to be single. But I would rather be single than to marry the wrong person. I'm telling y'all, don't do it, because I've seen so many people, they start to lower their standards and then, start to compromise on it. And then this is what happens. And then after that, let's say you're with someone who's a liar, a cheater, a deceiver, a fraudster. And then, you're going to go back on your compromise. If my value is never to get a divorce, I want to make sure that I'm with someone who will make me not want to get divorced. Let's just put it that way. Cause ain't no way. Cause I already said I'm not gonna do it. But anyway, back to the story. So then I told her, yeah, like, I'm in it for the long haul. And exactly, don't ever be that desperate. I promise you. There's so many men around the world who will who will meet your standards and more around the world. Around the world. And if he ain't in your city, your town, he's somewhere out there. As mine was all the way across the world, right? So yeah, back to the point though. I did tell my mother-in-law, yeah, I was like, no, I'm serious about your son. And, I want to be with him forever. And then I'm not going to give up. And once I said that, she was, do you have your passport? You talking about the R. Kelly? Are you talking about that R. Kelly video that when I do you have your passport? Wait, what she said? What he said? Are you Are you ready to come to America? Do you have your passport? I gotta find that video. That video was so funny. Oh my god. Yo, R. Kelly was a mess for that. But anyway, point is that yeah, like I was like, look, I'm gonna take care of your son. You ain't gotta worry about that, ma'am. And she said, okay. But I could tell she was low key still looking at me like, with her little glasses like this. Grandma was with it though. Grandma ain't care. Grandma loved her some me and my family. Grandma, when my family came, it was like she loved my family like they were her own family. Like grandma was so super sweet. His mom was sweet too, but you could tell she was a little like, I'm gonna still watch this little girl. I'm gonna watch her. But then as time went on, she got her guard went down, went down, went down. And now, years later, we're besties. And she knows I'm taking good care of her son, and her son is doing very well in this country. You got to remember, like, he's an only child. Why is he look at this one right here scratching his throat. I don't take care of you. I take care of you, honey. Oh please, you okay? Listen, he survived. He swears that he did everything on his own. But there, behind every strong man, there's a strong woman. Remember, they said if the man is the head, the woman is the what? The neck. So there you go. So anyway, yeah, his mama really really loves me, and she always looking out for your girl. So yeah, throwing shade at right. Dom always throwing shade at your girl, but his mama know what's up. She know I got to deal with her son and whatnot, and his mom knows. She even told me, she was like, before we like when we got married, she said, my job is done. I'm not. I swear, if I'm lying, I'm flying. She looked at me in the eye, y'all, after we ate dinner. She said this in Korean, and she even asked me, "Do you understand what I'm saying?" And I was like, "Yes." She said, "My job is done. He's yours now. I done did my work. This your man. This ain't my child no more. That's your man. So you gonna take care of him." And I promise you, ever since that day when he left their house a year and some change ago, they have been living their best life. His parents have been taking trips. His mama has no care in the world now. They are living their married life. They are happy. He is gone, and he got his little family going on with me and him, and they ain't got to deal with him no more. So that's my mother-in-law, y'all. And every day she check up on me, and I know she be checking up on me like, yo, thank you. I feel like she's so grateful because she's like, look, you ain't got to worry about it. I'm good. We're good. So yeah. So anywho, that's just a quick story I wanted to tell y'all. But anyways, how did we get to that topic? I don't remember. All right, let's continue to the real topic. Love it. You did the right way. Marriage is sacred, and a vow to God that you're going to be death to us part. Amen, sis. That's right. That's right. I may not be perfect. I may not be like, I'm still human. We're still human. But one thing about it, and two things for sure, we're going to make sure this marriage works. Marriage is tough. Even if you married your knight in shining armor, you literally have to fight for it. The question is it worth fighting for? Amen, her creative mind. Amen, sis. And that's the thing. That's why I wanted to be with someone that it would be worth fighting for. Because I wasn't going to do all that if he wasn't worth fighting for. I promise. So cute. Agreed. Marriage is hard work. I know people always be like, oh, you're just with the wrong person. It shouldn't be that hard. It is that hard. It is. And for some, yeah, this is okay. We're going to talk about that in the dating series before I get into this topic. I know I've been yapping a little bit long, but what I want to say is this. People, I'll be honest, real honest. This is real Romy talk right now. People who tell you that marriage is easy, you're just with the wrong person, I could tell they're not married. That's number one. And not throwing shade, but I'm just saying that one, it's not that they're not married that makes it a bad thing, because you can be not married and still give good advice. But my thing is that like they haven't done it. And so for them, they're like, oh, you're just with the wrong person. It shouldn't be that hard. Other people, their husbands worship the ground they walk on, and yada, 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 yada. And that may be true. But in actuality, that's not always the case, because they're looking at these social media couples. Again, I'm telling you, I'll be digging into social media couples for a reason. The reason is because they give a false sense of of what it's supposed to be. It's a false sense of marital bliss at all times. And they have issues. That's the funniest thing, they do. It just may not be as heightened as other couples, but they have issues. Everyone has issues. I don't care what nobody says. Everyone has issues. It may not be as some people have more than others. But what I will say is this, like, you can't look at other people's relationships and be like, oh, well, because you like, I don't like, because some people, they don't like it when you say marriage is hard, or you're just with the wrong person. No, you just don't know what it is, because everything in life that's worth something is hard. You want to start your own business? It's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy to start your own business. And if anybody tells you it's easy, it's probably because of nepotism. The Bible even says that you will have tribulation if you marry. It's not peaches and cream all the time. Exactly. And that's why I don't like this narrative that's going around. A lot of women keep saying that. They're like, oh, he's just not the right one. If it's too hard, then that means he's not the right one. No. It's just that that's what real marriage is. So if your husband is not sharing with you his real mind, or your wife is not sharing with you their real mind, then yes, you're going to have a surface level marriage. A surface level marriage is like a surface level friendship. Those are the friendships where you guys never disagree, you never have any issues. You and your friends are just surface level. And I'm not saying you have to have drag on fights to be like friends with someone. I'm just saying that there has to be a, like, once you get deeper in any type of relationship, very deeply, I mean, I'm not talking about just like we kick it and we hang out once in a while. I'm talking about like you're really truly for that person. There's going to be times where you have to keep it real with them. They might not like it, and vice versa. There are going to be times where you don't agree with your friends. You guys don't see eye to eye. And if you guys agree on everything, if you've never had an argument with that person, then I would highly say that, and that's just my opinion. Again, my opinion is that I don't think that you guys are deep enough as you think you are. And that's how I say it. Because as soon as you have a deep, deep, deep relationship with someone, and you know everything about them, you know their flaws, and you're able to really be your true, authentic self around them, and you can tell them when they're wrong, when they're right, you can tell them who they are, you can be a reflection of that person, you're not going to see eye to eye all the time. And it's going to be hard work, especially when it's your spouse. Now, with your friends, it might be different because y'all not sleeping together. So it's different. But when it's your spouse, they see you in your real element. So it's either you faking, you got to be faking, or you're hiding your true self from them. And that's why you don't have disagreements. Not because, oh, we're a perfect couple and because he matches me. No, it's because you're not your true self. Because once you're your true self, baby, you're going to get exposed. Do you understand what I'm saying? Exactly. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling you, that's the real tea about marriage. So if you want a surface level marriage where he doesn't share everything with you and he's only giving you the answers you want to hear, then by all means have that relationship. And yeah, you won't have to work as hard. That's true. Marriage won't be hard for you because he's just going to do whatever you want. You're going to do whatever he wants. And then one day, one of you is going to get sick of putting that facade on. Your mask is going to fall off. And then eventually you're going to leave. However, if you really want a real deal Holyfield marriage, where you guys can be together and you actually can, be honest with each other, transparent with each other. You can be naked. And I'm not talking about physically, I'm talking about emotionally naked. He can see you crying, boohoo crying. He could see your wins. He could see your fails. He could see your insecurities. He can see who you are as a person. That's going to be hard work. But guess what? It's going to be the best, because that's when you don't have to hide yourself for that person. You can be really, truly who you are. And that person's going to accept you for them, because I'm telling you, I'm telling you, that's going to be the best marriage, best relationship you'll ever have. Yep. His disciples spoke up and said, if this is the standard, then it seems better to never get married. Not everyone is meant to remain single, only those whom God gives grace to be unmarried. The good, the bad, and the ugly exposure. And Paul was single. Like, if you look in the Bible, Paul was single. And he said that he wanted to be single. He was like, look, marriage too hard. I got things I want to do. I want to be a missionary. I want to be in, going to different countries. And if I'm tied down with somebody, it's going to be too much compromise. Some people don't like to compromise. And it's okay if you have that kind of personality where you don't like to compromise, and marriage might not be for you. But if you have a personality where you want to really be with someone for real, and you really want to like really love someone through everything. I'm talking about everything. You're going to see some parts of your spouse that you don't like. And they're going to see some parts of you that they hate, they don't like. But then it's about just learning, and they expose those things out of you because, again, your parents are not going to expose it out of you. Your parents love you. They're going to coddle you. Your siblings are not going to expose it out of you. Your friends are not going to expose it out of you. But your spouse will. If your spouse is keeping it real, he's going to be like, well, you know what? You're too negative. Or he's going to say, you know what? I noticed that you're always like this. I'm telling you, they're going to see every single thing that you've been trying to, like, nobody really told you about. People might have told you about it, but you just dismiss it like, that's just how I am. You're going to take it or leave it. And your spouse is going to be like, no, you need to change it. Because that's not how we communicate. We don't communicate like that. Anyway, we're going to get on that series next month. I've been yapping. All right, 50 minutes. Wow, almost an hour. Okay. Oh, I'm going to try to go through this live. All right, let's start. Self-deprecation in East Asian culture. I'll read Tyra's and then I'll continue. Yeah, learn relationships, learn communication, service level is easy, but going deep in someone seeing the real you is hard. Exactly. Boom, bam, pow. It ain't easy. So again, if you want a surface level relationship, then yeah, when those people that say that, oh, marriage shouldn't be that hard, that's those relationships. Then you and your husband or whoever, if you're a man, you and your wife, you will never have an argument. Y'all can live happy ever after, but don't expect it to get any deeper than that. It's not going to be a real friendship or a real relationship. It's just going to be y'all just hiding who you are. That's it. Putting the mask on. But when you take that mask off, and this is how you know it's true love and it's a testament of love. One, you work hard for it, but not only that, you take your mask off and they still love you and they still willing to deal with your behind. And y'all know how y'all are. I know how I am. And they still willing to love you and work through it. That's a real one. That's a real one. Just gonna say that. Anyway, let's talk about self-deprecation. All right, so now that we're almost an hour in, let me tell y'all something. So Tuesday, when I posted that video, mind you, I filmed those videos like almost 3 weeks ago, like at the beginning of December. Beginning of January. So all the information that I know now was not presented in the video. In the video, I was just giving you guys the overview of what self-deprecation is, what it is, what it looks like, and that you should unlearn it. I didn't give you tips on how to unlearn it because I wanted you guys to think, because I like to make people think first before I give you guys like, okay, like maybe this is the way to unlearn it, yada, yada, yada. Researchers say this, yada, yada, yada. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something that's so crazy. While researching for this video, I realized that self-deprecation in East Asian culture is not only accepted, but it is something that is looked up. Like, that is something that's expected, but also something that is looked favorably upon. And it's historically tied to different things, especially in China, Korea, and Japan. And even in their language, there's self-deprecating factors that we may not understand as Westerners, but for them, it's normal. And it actually is something favorable, which is mind-blowing. So in Western culture, self-deprecating like behavior and self-deprecating humor, there's a balance to it. Sometimes it can be funny. Somebody like makes fun, like comedians. They are true self-deprecators. They'll talk about themselves and how they're broke and how, nobody wants to talk to them, and they'll make it funny. But then in real life, if you are a self-deprecating person in a relationship, it can get challenging because you don't always want to be there to kind of help someone build up their self-esteem if they always think so negatively about themselves, right? However, in East Asian society, according to research, because I don't want people coming for me talking about, that's not true, I don't believe that. In East Asian society, as far as those in East Asia, I'm not talking about Asian Americans, Asian Canadians, because they are not them. Asian Americans, Asian Canadians, they are literally Canadians and Americans, just Asian. That's it. So they will see self-deprecating humor and behavior as something negative. But in East Asian culture, it's not seen as negative. And now it's starting to make sense to me why sometimes people say things Like, oh, teacher, I'm not this good. Or, somebody will make a comment like, oh, I'm not this. I mean, think so, speak so negatively about themselves. And I'm like, why are they feeling so down on themselves? Like, why do they think that way? But in actuality, that's what is culturally expected of them. And so let me go through research here. All right, first, I always say I don't want to make this live too long, but I'm going to go through the important parts that I have here. Here, I'm going to go through an article. One, it talked about the Japanese language, but I'm going to skip that because I want to talk about cultural differences in humor, perception, usage, and implications. So this one was made by Chinese, I think it's a Chinese author. These are Chinese researchers. And they talked about how existing humor investigates how culture impacts individuals' humor perception and usage, as well as implications for psychological well-being. So how they use self-deprecation humor is part of their attitude. So it says previous research has substantiated evidence that Easterners do not hold as positive an attitude toward humor as their Western counterparts do. So they're saying that people from Eastern culture do not know how to take a joke. They don't know how to take humor, right? And the perception makes Easterners less likely to use humor as a coping strategy in comparison to Westerners when it comes to self-deprecation. So they're saying that when it comes to self-deprecation, we use it in a humorous way. They don't like to use it in a humorous way. But they said despite this difference, Westerners and Easterners have similar patterns in the relationship between their humor and psychological well-being index, and that the strength of the relationship varies across cultures. So, what they're trying to say here in this research is that humors and experiences tends to be funny to us, and it tends to elicit laughter and smiling, especially in Western culture. Like if I start talking about, oh yeah, I was so big I couldn't fit into the door frame and all this stuff, y'all will be laughing, right? And be like, damn, Roby, yeah, like da 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 da. But it's not that way in Eastern culture in that sense, right? And so they're saying that humor is universal, but it is culturally specific. So even the way that they take humor is different. And it's shown that, hold on, let's go here. I'm going to get to humor perception. Blah, blah, blah. They talk about ancient Greece. I don't want to go through all that. So we're going to do that. All right. So they were talking basically about Chinese culture, East Asian, including mainland Chinese, Taiwanese, and Hong Kong people. So I think this was mostly focused on mainland China. And they were saying that they were lower self-rated humor. They had lower rated self-humor than Westerners. So they didn't like to laugh at themselves too much. They use self-deprecating language, but not in a humorous way. Basically, that's the point of this whole article. And it shows that Westerners associate humor with positivity, and that's not the case for Chinese people. So what that means is that if you go to a Chinese person and you start making a joke about self-deprecation, so if you go like, oh yeah, it's because I have a double chin, ha ha ha, they're not gonna laugh. They don't see it as humorous. They don't see it as funny. Self-deprecation to them is not humor. It's in another way. I'll go through that. And they said that it has some ties to do with like Confucianism and so on and so forth. Now, in summary, what they're saying is that Chinese prefer to name experts rather than their friends or relatives as humorous people. So they don't see you as somebody funny. Like they only watch people like whoever has the expertise of being funny, which is a comedian or somebody higher, then they will laugh. But they're not going to laugh at you, basically like with you. So for example, if you want to meet with somebody, Asian man or specifically Chinese, I can't say Korean because I think Koreans are a little different, but for Chinese specifically, if you meet with a Chinese man and y'all kicking it or something, and y'all dating, and then you like to make a lot of jokes, if you're the type of person to joke a lot, it may not land well with your mate. It's not gonna land well. It ain't gonna land well. And that's because they don't see it as something like that is valuable as far as when it comes to self-deprecation versus Western people. So if you have the type of person to have a certain behavior of self-deprecation and you like to laugh at yourself and you're like, oh my God, I'm so silly, da 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 da, they're not gonna like that. That's not what they want, according to the research. And they don't see it as a good personality trait to be a jokester. So if you're constantly laughing, you like to play around, they don't like that. In Chinese culture, again, they said Chinese, Hong Kong, and Taiwanese. I don't know about Korean. I would say from personal experiences, Korea is a little different with the self-deprecating humor. We're gonna learn that. I think Korea is more closely to Western self-deprecation, whereas Chinese is way different. So if you like to joke around a little bit, I don't think Korean people would mind it so much, but you got to know your audience. But anyways, that was the first research. Then next, I think Little Mama wrote something. Hold on, let me check what you wrote, sis. Let me get into it. Hold on. I can't get into the comments. You'll have to write another comment so I can see the previous one. Next, let me skip this article because we went over what self-deprecation means. I want to go through the language one, so just give me a second. I got a lot of... Okay, there you go. Thanks, little mama. You said, at first, it was hard for me to understand Korean humor, but I eventually got it, and now I can barely see the difference now. Is this similar to Western humor? I've never gotten into Korean humor, to be honest with you. I don't know. People try to get me into the show Running Man, but I never got into it. I don't know why. All right, second article is humor in South Korea, navigating the line between what's funny and what's not. So we just read in China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan specifically, and mainland China, they don't like that. They don't like humor. Yes, Samantha, you can definitely ask a question. And welcome to the live. So in China, they don't like self-deprecation, humor, basically. They're not going to be haha funny with you. They think that comedy is left for the experts, in that, if you're a person who's very silly, you like to play around a lot, chances are he ain't going to like that. I mean, again, individually, maybe the person might be a little different, but culturally, they just don't like to, they're not into that kind of humor. Because I notice a lot of British folks like to have self-deprecating humor. Like, it's something funny to them. They also like a lot of dark, like, jokes. I think they call them like dark jokes and stuff like that, dark humor. But yeah, but for Asian, especially Chinese folks, China, Taiwan, and Hong Kong, they don't like that. Samantha asks, have you ever been in an Asian country? What do you think about international couples with Asian people? Thank you. Yes, I have. I lived in Korea for 6 years, Samantha. And if it's your first time on my live, welcome. Check out my channel. Oh, you like Asian countries? Yes, I do too. And my husband is Korean. I lived in Korea for 6 years. I visited China before. I would love to visit other Asian countries. I just haven't had the chance to. But yes, being that I lived in Korea for 6 years, I can say that I love living there. I think Korea will always have a special place in my heart because it was one of the places where I grew the most. And so I owe a lot of my 20s to Korea. Hi Samantha, welcome. Yeah, say welcome to Samantha. And also, like you, I also loved Asian culture. When I studied political science, I was into international relations, and I've always wanted to live in an Asian country. And I had this like really deep, I wouldn't say affection, but I had this really deep like wanting to. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but it was like I had this deep appreciation for Asian culture and its history and just the context of everything that they've gone through. I remember when I learned about Chinese history, they went through a lot, y'all. They went through a lot of like wars, and then they had the Opium War, British trying to colonize them. Like, it was a lot. And same with Korea. Korea was a small, country, and they've been dealing with wars since their inception, and just being conquered by Japan and colonialism, and then after that, the Korean War. And then even not just East Asia, like even if we go to Vietnam, Thailand, we go to so many different countries, Indonesia, every Asian country is so different. But anyways, to answer your question, yes, I've been to an Asian country. I lived there for 6 years. I'm married to an Asian man. I am integrated into an Asian family. I speak some Korean, could be better. And what do I think about international couples with Asian men? That's what this channel is about, because it's going to happen. Matter of fact, I'm seeing a lot of foreigners marrying a lot of Asian men, and it's happening. And mostly, I've noticed that a lot of foreign women, as far as us, or Western women, I want to say Western because we're not foreign in our country, but a lot of Western women are marrying Asian men at a higher level than before because of media exposure. However, sometimes we don't know how to connect with them. And I think that a lot of the issues that I've noticed is that, yeah, and if you want that, then you're gonna have it. You just gotta know how to approach it. That is a strategy. That's the thing. You gotta know what makes them want to be attracted to you. That's number one. And it's not all about looks. They have different qualifications for a wife. Looks is one part of it, but also culture is a big part. Culture, tradition. Those two things are very important to Asian men, especially men, because they're the ones who are going to carry the genetic pool of their family, right? They're going to continue the lineage and the legacy. So you have to know how to adapt to the culture. And I think that's what's keeping a lot of Asian men from actually going out and meeting women that are not Asian. Yeah, one part could be their families might not accept it, but I think that that's a smaller part now. Now it's more about culture. The first thing they're going to say is, do you know X culture? Do you know my culture? Will you adapt to my culture? Because a lot of women won't do it. They won't. And a lot of divorces happen that way because they don't feel that they're appreciated. Tyra, I'm gonna read your comment after it disappeared. But what I want to say is that, like, yes, I do believe that Asian men and Western women can have beautiful, fulfilling relationships. Absolutely. Why not? Every other race can do it. There's nothing wrong with wanting to date someone from an Asian country or being attracted to someone from an Asian country. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Obviously, I'm married to someone from an Asian country, and I think it can work. What I will say though is that you shouldn't have this I guess unrealistic expectation. The fantasy is the problem. Tyra said so true. Happening a lot more. Yeah, be smart. Don't be so airheaded. Exactly. Exactly. Be smart and realistic. So is better know the culture after go marriage or relationship before. Right now, while you're single, if you want to marry an Asian man, you better know their culture. You got to start learning the traditions. You got to start even before the relationship. Is exactly. You got to start knowing it. You have to start. I'm telling you, you got to start. Start now. Before I met my husband, I had already like I said, I was already like kind of I had an appreciation for Asian culture, specifically Chinese culture. And then when I moved to Korea, I learned a new culture, and I was like, "Oh my god, like this is so amazing." And I wanted to learn more about Korean culture. And when I lived there, I learned a lot, and there's still a lot I don't know. But what I will say is that I'm learning more and more. And now I realize how important it is for me to really immerse myself, because for a while I did take a break. I got a little comfortable and I was like, oh, I'm back home now. So, I can take my time. And now I realize, no, it's still important to keep growing and learning your spouse's culture, because things will make sense once you know the culture. You don't want to just get thrown into it and then you don't know how to communicate with your spouse. You don't know how to communicate with his family. You have no idea about the traditions and what they expect. And then it just becomes a nightmare for you. And I don't want that for any of you. Anybody watching my live, anybody here. If you truly have the desire to marry someone from an Asian country, no problem. You can find somebody. They will marry you. Now, the one thing that's very important though is you need to know their culture. 100%. And I'm not just talking about surface level. I'm talking about you got to really know what's going on. And I think the more that you can understand that and that part of them, because it's very important to them. They're from a collectivist society, so they see that as like the pinnacle of their well-being and their whole family culture. They want that. Thank you. I really appreciate it. No problem, Samantha. And again, I'll do more lives like this. Today is about self-deprecation in Eastern culture, but I'm going to do so many more about next month will be dating. And you can look forward to that series. That's coming up in February. All right, so let's continue. So they said, numerous studies emphasize the beneficial effects of laughter and humor in the workplace. Yet in reality, who jokes? What is joked about? and how jokes are received are deeply embedded in the context of workplace hierarchies and power structures. So this is humor. Humor and how South Koreans see what's funny and what's not. That includes self-deprecating humor. All right. So remember, I told y'all Koreans are very close to Western culture. They like to crack jokes. They do like to joke around a lot. They're not the same as Chinese. I think Chinese culture is a little more serious compared to Korean. Koreans are very, 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 very funny. I'll say that. They're hilarious. They have a lot of like sketch shows, comedy shows. If you watch Running Man, and there's so many other ones, they always like to laugh. I'll say that. And this one girl, she said Yoon Jin Hee, she describes herself as a bubbly and funny personality, always cracking jokes. First when around friends, but at work, she doesn't reveal her real side. And that's because you can't make a joke. You can't. You can't have that self-deprecating humor in front of them. It's not going to work. And, excuse me. And she says it's not really funny, but we just go ha-ha, like for like, who can make a joke? It depends on the hierarchy of the person. So the higher the person is, the more they can make a joke, and you're going to have to laugh even if you don't want to. Kind of like us. I think it's similar to us. Like sometimes you could be, no, actually it's different. Because for me, I feel like I can make a joke with my boss and my boss can make a joke with me and we're fine. But in Asian culture or in Korean culture, you can't. You can't joke around with them. Samantha said, do you see any difference between Chinese people and Koreans about behavior? Absolutely. We're going to touch on that in a future video. 100%. They're similar, but different in many ways. I feel like in Korean culture, it's seen differently than in Chinese culture. Chinese culture is a lot more traditional. Again, they have the hundreds and thousands of years of history versus Korean culture. Yeah, thank you, Samantha. Looking forward to it. Thanks. And people can't make half jokes in Korea. That's what I'm saying. If you're a person who likes to make jokes about yourself and have that self-deprecating behavior, it ain't gonna work in Korea. And let me continue, blah, blah, blah. They just went and said that they mostly criticize people who like to joke a lot in Korea. So they said that making fun of others is seen as criticism. So when you make fun of other people, they don't see it as something funny. Like, for example, we like to crack jokes on our friends. We like, oh, look at you. You're looking crazy right now. Or you know how some people be like, well, look at them shoes. Them shoes look crazy. Look, you got bobos on, or your hair looking a little funny. You're looking like, I don't know, whatever. We like to make fun of each other. We like to roast. That's what they call it. You'll roast somebody, he'll roast you back. Today, they said some Koreans feel uneasy with the kind of humor that relies on making fun of others, sarcasm or satire in general, whether it's with your friends or not. Yeah. So then she said that you can't really joke with each other. And usually joking is left to the comedian. So it's similar to Chinese culture in the sense that, like, you can't roast your friends that much. Like, it really depends on the person's sensitivity level. But usually it's not seen as something positive. And then she said that there's a housewife. She said she's sometimes called a jinjijong for her inability to laugh with certain kinds of humor. So she's this very serious person. She said that's mostly when I express my discomfort about comedians mocking people like overweight individuals, people with disabilities, and those of color. She's actually right. Those kind of jokes are very sadistic. So she's right with that. And she says that I think that laughing is something good, but she also says that it's not good to make fun of other people. You can't roast people, okay? If you like to roast people, it's not the culture you could do that in. And if you do have friends, like, for example, like, I'm not saying all Korean people don't like to roast each other, but you got to know your audience. If you end up dating a man and you notice that, he's not really a person who makes jokes, you could know somebody who makes jokes right away. Let me tell y'all a little story. When Dom and I met, we talked to each other, stuff like that. And then he took me to Myeongdong. So he took me to this really, really beautiful restaurant in Myeongdong. And then we went for a walk near the cathedral. There's a Myeongdong cathedral. It's very famous, one of the oldest cathedrals in Myeongdong. And when we went there, I took my phone out because I had an iPhone XR. And I took my phone out and I bought it used, y'all. It was an older iPhone. I was like, whatever, I don't care. It was red. It was beautiful. I bought it from somebody for like really cheap. And I took it out and then I started taking video. And I was like, oh, can you take my picture? And he was like, with that old phone. He was like, with that dinosaur, I have the newer phone. I have an iPhone 11. And so he was roasting my phone, right? And so from there, I realized, okay, he liked the joke. So we just started joking and cracking on each other and roasting each other. And that's our relationship, right? Because he's fine. But if you notice that your man, he doesn't really like to joke, or the guy you're talking to, he doesn't know how to joke with you, then most likely he doesn't have that humorous sense. He don't have that sense of humor. LOL. Yeah, Dom knows how to joke and throw shade. Yeah, those are very, 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 very those are skillful. That's a skill right there. You gotta know how to roast people. That's a skill. But not everyone has that. So if you look at Dom's friends, I can tell you which friends would roast or not. He got some friends that are serious, they don't roast, right? So it's like it really depends on the type of situation you're in. And let's continue. So we were talking about humor, but let's talk about there was one about domestic violence, but I don't want to talk about that right now. It talks about self-criticism and domestic violence, but I'll save that for later if we have time. And we're going to talk about self-criticism in history. You said I am more like make jokes with friends. Yes, make jokes with friends. Yes. And like I said, you got to know your audience. If you're dating a man and you notice that he's joking from day one, then chances are he doesn't mind a good joke. But if you're dating an East Asian man and you could tell you're from Costa Rica, I'm from Canada. I forgot to tell you that. Yeah, I'm from Canada. So yeah, but I was raised in America, so I guess both North America, I'll say. If you notice that your mate doesn't like to make jokes, then chances are he's not a jokey person, and you gotta chill on that. You might need to kind of test the waters a little bit. My name is Romy, like the channel Rome with Romy. So yeah, that's my name. Nice to meet you, Samantha. So yeah, let's continue. So they said a new study from Busan National University uncovers the hidden obviousness of self-deprecating remarks in entertainment. So they did a big study in Korea to check how self-deprecating humor lands in South Korea. And they said that self-deprecation in Korean reality TV is a versatile tool that impacts interactions through defense, reprimand, accusation, humor, and cultural nuances. And they said self-deprecation, often involving self-criticism, plays a complex role in Korean reality TV shows, serving purposes like humor, defense, self-blame, reprimand, and accusation. Professors Eun-Suk Ro and Josephine Mijin Lee's study analyzed shows like Infinite Challenge and I Am Solo, revealing self-deprecation's impact depends on context and cultural sensitivity. So that's very important. Self-deprecation is seen totally different in East Asian culture. Their research offers insights into how understanding self-deprecation can enhance communication in diverse settings. So they see it as something that can enhance communication. When you self-deprecate, is seen as something good. Self-deprecation, which means a negative self-assessment used in social interaction, is prevalent in Korean TV or reality shows. And traditionally, psychology views self-deprecation as indicative of low self-esteem, like my video said, or related to psychological disorders such as depression or eating disorders. Remember, Adam said that in my video. That's from a Western perspective. In a recent study by professors Eun-Suk Ro from Busan National University and Josephine Mijin Lee from Ewha Women's University, my alma mater, the focus shifts from a pathological view to an interactional one, revealing the complex dynamics of self-deprecation in social interactions. And they suggest that self-deprecating remarks often serve broader interactional purposes. So the more self-deprecating you are, the more you can get closer to that person. But it's not in a humorous way, though, in certain ways. It's more like the more you put yourself down, the more that person feels like, okay, I can connect with you because I also feel the same way, so I can connect with you. It's kind of similar to Western culture, but in a different way. They said existing research has primarily analyzed data where self-deprecation is the central topic of conversation. In their study, it gives a difference right? Where they examine interactional episodes where the relevance of self-deprecation is suspended until other interactional exigencies are resolved. Basically, they're saying self-deprecation is not the center of the conversation, but we're going to look at the whole situation in the context of the situation, and we're going to prove that self-deprecation actually is a really good thing. That's what they're saying. And through detailed conversation analysis, they examine the participants' self-deprecating actions, the responses they elicited, and interactional consequences. In Infinite Challenge, which is a reality show, they said self-deprecation was used as a defense against false accusation, leading to humorous interaction. And basically, they said that, like, if you're accused of something, then it's okay to be self-deprecating, because in that way, it can make the situation lighter, right? And in I Am Solo, self-deprecation was used to self-blame, reprimand, and accuse to solicit an apology. So different contexts of how self-deprecation was used in these contexts. And she said that some misunderstandings can lead to emotional reactions. And self-deprecation should be handled carefully to avoid negative outcomes. All right. So now, if you have like self-deprecating behavior and you're dating someone from Korea, you got to use it in a special context, specific context. So if, for example, they're saying that if you're accused of something and you use, like, if you're accused of stealing something, like let's say you go to a store and then you're accused of stealing something and then you say, what does it look like? Does it look like I have money? Then that could lessen the humor, right? But it's only in those kind of situations. But usually they're very sensitive. They said sensitivity to self-deprecating remarks is crucial to avoid negative outcomes. So you got to know your audience. Once again. And they said that if you use it in the right way, you can connect with people on a deeper level. However, it's mostly used in times where there's like blame and these kind of contexts, the context that I went over. So yeah, it's not seen as the same as in our culture, where when you have self-deprecating humor, everybody laughs at you like, haha, he's fat, or haha, she has a big head. You got a 5 head. Like, that's funny to us. But to them, they don't like that unless it's in specific context. And next, I already went over that. That was a reality show. I have the research here, but it's really long. So we're going to skip that. And we went over the results. Now, I'm going to continue on because I don't have much time. Self-deprecating language use in Korean and Japanese. This one is very important. This is where language comes into play. So they're basically saying that in certain languages, like Japanese and Korean, an example of self-deprecation is the Korean speaker's use of negative yes/no interrogatives. Okay. So then they said that the use of negative interrogatives creates the impression that the speaker is displaying modesty and self-doubt. And in doing so, it saves their face. This is very important. So when you're listening to Korean language, I guess in some places, like when they're asking questions, they make it in a way where it seems like they don't know what they're talking about. Like, maybe I'm you know what I mean? And for them, it's okay because then it displays modesty. So it's seen as something good. And that is different. It says that, in fact, one of the salient differences between Korean and American English is that Korean speakers use question forms a great deal. They will question you. They will question you. But it's not something bad. It's good. I know, it's extremely interesting. They said that 905 interrogatives were used by Korean speakers, whereas 507 were used by American speakers, which means that the Korean speakers use question forms almost twice as frequently as the American speakers in their interaction. So they're going to ask questions. The number of negative interrogatives yields an even more surprising results. A total of 120 negative yes/no interrogatives were found in Korean data, accounting for 13.3% of all interrogatives. However, only 9 were used in American data. This means that each Korean pair used an average of 6 negative yes/no interrogatives, while American pair only used 0.4. In fact, all but one Korean pair used some form of negative yes/no interrogative, whereas only 5 American pairs use them. This suggests that negative yes/no interrogatives might have different interactional functions in Korean and English. These digressions seem to reveal a tendency on the part of East Asian people to mix elements of their personal lives with their public relationships. That is, even though the obvious purpose of these conversations is to carry out a given task, both parties feel more comfortable if it occurs on a more personal, humane level. They do not mind self-deprecating or showing their own weakness or disclosing purely personal information. That is true. In Korea, they will ask you everything. They are not going to hold back. They don't mind sharing negative things as long as it's negative. It's self-deprecating. They don't mind it. And it's different in Western culture. We think it's private. We're like, nah. And also they use a lot of interrogatives, a lot of question form. So if you are going to be with someone, especially a Korean, now it makes sense why Dom's always asking me questions. And I used to be like, why are he asking me all these questions? That's part of his culture. It's his culture to ask questions. Dom will ask me 1,000,001 questions. And at first I was like, well, he doesn't trust me? Like he doesn't believe in me? Like what? It's his culture. Now it makes sense because he's using English with a Korean context. So it makes sense that he's going to approach English as a Korean. So that's why there's a when they say missing translation, there's a translation problem. Because now when he talks in English, for me, I don't I can understand it generally speaking because he's speaking in English. So we understand each other in that way. But then the cultural context is different. His doesn't compute as a Canadian or American or Western person. His English is Korean. A Korean speaking English. And I'm not talking about with the accent. I'm talking about the relevancy and the nuance. So then when he asks questions, I used to think it was something negative. Because I'm like, why is he asking me so many questions? Why does he need to know all these things? But it's because in Korea, they use a lot of questions. So it makes sense that he's always going to ask questions. Mind blown, right? So they said basically in Japanese, so instance, it's the same thing in Japan. They said that when speakers self-deprecate in conversation, they tend to do it in chorus. Individual speakers self-deprecate to smooth out the interaction during conversation, but they often accelerate the process by exchanging self-deprecating language. So they both going to self-deprecate together. If you put somebody from, like, for example, 2 Japanese people together, they're going to both feed into each other and self-deprecate together. And it gives them a closer connection. They said, for instance, the repetition of wakaranai by Japanese speakers illustrates this very well. Basically, wakaranai, or I don't know in English, so I guess wakaranai, I'm sorry, I don't speak Japanese, but that must be it. I don't know in English, is a marker of the speaker's insufficient knowledge of the topic of discourse. It is a declaration of the inability to supply information. However, researchers have found that I don't know in English has a variety of pragmatic functions, interpersonal or textual, other than basic meaning. For example, I don't know is used by speakers to protect not only their own, but also addresses face wants by prefacing disagreements, minimizing impolite beliefs, and avoid making assessments. So when we say I don't know, it's basically used as like we just want to save ourselves. Like, I don't know, so don't ask me. It's different in Japanese. And they said that they examined British spoken corpora and concludes that both I don't know and I don't know, DUNNO, are used as a politeness devices in conversation, functioning as a hedge or marker of uncertainty. So I don't know. Like if somebody asks you for instructions, like, hey, do you know how to get to the Walmart down the street? Oh, I'm sorry, I really don't know. And then you move on, you go about your business. Nobody's going to expect you to, that's it. However, they said that, hold on, based on these studies, they said that I don't know can be used as an expression of self-deprecation because the speaker overtly admits her inability or lack of ability to contribute to the completion of the task. All right. So now they checked I don't know in English, Korean, and Japanese. They found that in Japanese data, it was interesting because it seems that the speakers use the expression to promote a sense of interdependence between them. When one speaker says wakarainai, which is I don't know, the other speaker often reciprocates. This rarely happens with English or Korean speakers. So Japan is different. When they say I don't know, so in English, it's I don't know. It's I'm uncertain, so I'm gonna say I don't know. And in Korean, 몰라요, I don't know, is seen as I don't know what's going on. In Japanese, though, when they say wakarainai, which is I don't know, and again, I'm not a Japanese speaker, please, y'all don't get on my tone. That means that they both gonna say I don't know together, and it's something seen as, oh, it's gonna connect us together. I don't know, 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 I don't know. So wakanairai is seen as interdependence. That means that they're connecting with each other by saying I don't know. It's not seen as a negative, it's positive. Saying I don't know is good in Japan, but in Korea and in Western countries, it's seen as something like kind of like you don't really know. It's seen something you're unsure about. But in Japan, it's like, okay, we both say I don't know, and it's okay to say it because we're both going to connect with each other. And it seems that the speakers share insufficient knowledge about the task. That's in English and Korean. Oh, sorry. Hold on. In Japan, it seems that the speakers share an insufficient knowledge about the task. By sharing doubts and lack of confidence, they feel bonded to each other because they both don't know. So yeah, we both good. We're both good. And they said that notice that this kind of sharing often ends in laughter together. Speakers not only repeat Rakanairai to each other, but they also share their worries and uncertainties in order to create a sense of interdependence between them. And they said that where the speakers spent the longest time completing the task, they are still not sure of what they're doing, even though they are close to the end of the task. And after working on the task for a long time, the pair express their insufficient knowledge to each other. Then at the end, they declare themselves as couple with little imagination, and they are a self-deprecating pair. Okay, I'm gonna put that in layman's terms, simple terms. They did an experiment, and they had people complete a task. Americans or not Americans, people who spoke English. Yeah, it was Americans, Koreans, and Japanese people. And the Americans, if they didn't know how to do it, they said, I don't know. And that was it. I don't know. I don't know. And it was seen as, okay, I'm unsure, I'm uncertain, and whatever. There's no connection. We just gonna figure it out and try to get through it. Koreans were the same. I don't know, I don't know. And then they're trying to figure it out together. But in Japan, for Japanese people, they said, I don't know, I don't know either. Start laughing. And then through them not knowing together, somehow that makes them closer. Because for us, I will use an example. I'm not saying all the times, but I'm saying if we don't know something, it's kind of seen like, why don't you know? I don't know. I don't know. Oh my God. And it's something like shameful, like, oh my God, like, should I know this? I don't know. I don't know what to do. And it really depends on the person you're with. Because sometimes, yeah, you can laugh with the person and be like, well, we both don't know. I guess we both won't figure it out. But then if you're with someone who thinks that it's negative, you're not going to have a good time with that person trying to complete that task. Whereas in Japan, their language itself, I don't know, is seen as something good, and they will connect with each other on that. And that's how they go through self-deprecation together and they connect. So all negative things for them is a connection experiment. Like I said, it's not bad for Eastern culture. It's bad in Western cultures in some ways, but in Eastern culture, self-deprecation can be seen as good, depending on the culture you're in. It looks like it works for Japan. And it also works for China. Hold on, they had something here with China too. I'm gonna tell y'all. Here in China, I'm glad we continued. Accumulating evidence shows that East Asian cultures are relatively conducive and more likely to engage in self-criticism. They are self-deprecating by culture. And for instance, they said that Japanese self is characterized by a need to secure a positive view from others. An individual is more sensitive to his or her shortcomings that may actually jeopardize the favorable view of significant others. and they exhibit more evidence of self-criticism than North Americans. So they want to be seen as positive by other people. So they will always self-criticize themselves to make themselves likable. Next, China. A person who makes self-effacing attributions for his performance is better liked, although rated as less competent than a person who makes self-enhancing attributions. They don't like confident people. You can't go into that. Okay, we're gonna talk about that right now. Hold on. Let me check my hold on a second, y'all. I gotta check how much battery I have. Hold on a second. Hold on. I hope I have enough battery. Okay, I'm good. I'm at 55%. I'm gonna keep talking about this. In Western culture, we have a lot of pride, right? We're confident. You're supposed to be calm, cool, confident. You're supposed to walk in with the air about yourself. You know, confidence is key. If you go to an Eastern country, do not be overconfident. Please don't do that. It's not seen as good. I promise you. They said self-enhancing is somebody who makes themselves feel better about themselves or who's confident. You know, I'm pretty good though. I'm pretty whatever. They not gonna like that. I have a lot to offer. They don't like it. If you want to work in an Eastern country, if you plan on moving to an Eastern country, you got to take that into consideration. It's a completely different cultural context when it comes to like self-enhancing versus self-deprecation. Modesty, exactly. They want you to be modest. Thank you for putting the words in my mouth, Tyra. They don't like overconfident people. For us, it's seen as something positive and it makes you more likable a little bit because you got to show us what you got. Show us that you really want it. Show us your worth. Over there, don't show us your worth. Show us you're worthless. Show us you ain't got nothing going on. Show us you ain't that good. And we like you more. The more you show yourself to be humble, modest, and the more that you show that you're not all that and you don't know anything and you're self-deprecating, the more self-deprecating you are, the more favorably it's seen. It is insane. Head down for real. And I'm going to talk about where it comes from in just a moment. We have 55. I have 55%, so I'm going to still keep cooking. And also, I won't be going live tomorrow, so y'all could just catch this the whole week, and I'll cut it up. So yeah, they said that. And they said they suggest that this result follows from cultural norms whose function is to maintain harmonious interpersonal relationships, collectivist cultures. Collectivist in China, harmony is a huge thing. Korea too. Even their flag, Korean flag, I remember the colors. The I think it meant land, air, something like that. It was the elements of the earth and harmony. Chinese culture, harmony. Japanese culture, harmony. Harmony. Their flag is beautiful. And I'm telling you, if you go into the real meaning of the flag, it's so amazing. But harmony, the yin, and even the Korean flag, you'll see the yin and the yang. It's just in blue and red. It's so interesting to see it. Hold on, let me show y'all. Hold on. We gonna go into a Korean flag lesson. Hold on a second. Because I gotta represent for my man's country. He laying down right now. He can't really talk. Oh, he laughing. Korean flag meaning. Hold on. Korean flag meaning. My husband could probably tell y'all. Let's go to Teguki. Okay. I'm going to show y'all what it means, and this will make sense. Let's put it up. Y'all going to see it in my laptop right now. Again, we'll have screen sharing when I get my new laptop. But for now, we're going to have to do it this way. Here. What this mean? What this mean? White represents peace and purity. These three, the 4 trigrams, together represent what? Let's say together, class. Principle of movement and what? Harmony. Harmony. The circle represents a balance of the universe. Yin and yang, red and blue. And the red section represents the positive cosmic forces. And the blue section represents the negative cosmic forces. And together we have Teguki. That is East Asian culture in a nutshell. Oh, sorry, you gotta see my boobs. Harmony. Chinese culture too. They have a word for it. Harmony. I know they think of it, everything means something, but it's not just. I will say it's not even just Korea. If you look at different flags, even the Haitian flag, even every other country, the Venezuelan flag. If you look at a lot of it means liberation. So for more Latin American Caribbean countries, it's more about liberation because of colonialism, and then for Eastern countries, about harmony, yin and yang, the elements of the earth. And then if you look at flags from all over, it's so interesting. I'm telling y'all, one day maybe we'll do a deep dive over flags. It's so interesting. Everyone has a different meaning of flags, and it's just like, yeah, in Korea, yeah, they think of there was a reason they made that flag. Uh-huh. Yep. When I had to study, like, cause I studied a lot of different things. Like, I love history, y'all. If one day we could do deep dives about history, I would love to. Like, when we talk about everything, especially about flags, like, it has a real true meaning. Hell, even the American flag has a meaning, child. Even though right now y'all got a nut job. Oh, let me not say that out loud. Y'all got a really interesting character being inaugurated on Monday. Oh yeah, I love nerding out too. Yeah, let's do a nerd out session. Like, for real, the flags really mean something. And so they look at harmony above all else. So that's why self-deprecation is important to their culture versus ours, where it can be seen as humorous. For them, it's not a laughing matter. It's how they communicate and how they connect with each other. Because they want to create harmony. Because if you come out the gate thinking you all that in a bag of chips, like they used to say, and if you come out the gate very overconfident, how's that gonna make the other person feel? So then you have to humble yourself. So then that way they feel like they're on equal footing to you. That's just what it is. Whereas in America, it's like, we're the best, we're the best, we're the best. Or even, North America, I would say. Yeah, I love being American, but now I have to just hold my breath with these fools. Yeah, we're going to talk about it in Discord. Monday's going to be lit. Y'all, he talking about putting tariffs on Canada. We're in it. Listen, it's not y'all. It's us. We're suffering too. If he puts those tariffs in place, we're going to have tons of layoffs in my province because we rely so much on American things. And so will the U.S. They depend on Canadian resources as well. You can't outdo the other person. Everyone is even. Exactly, her creative mind. Everyone is equal, especially in the case of China. We're going to get into it. Y'all know China's a communist country. By the way, I wanted to talk about this today. I still got time. I'm gonna cook with y'all a little bit. Again, I'm not gonna go live tomorrow, so we'll cook today. A lot of people, because of the TikTok ban, segue, they started going to the Chinese app called Red Note. Okay, listen. Again, I don't know if they take your data. So what? Listen, I can't say I've been on this app. I haven't. My sister. How about my sister went on the app? She's like, yeah, I went there. It's very interesting. So basically, Red Note is like kind of similar to TikTok, but a lot of Americans are going on Red Note and they're realizing that, hey, this is, China, maybe some aspects of what we were told is not true. People are having a good time over there and learning Chinese, learning Mandarin, talking to different Chinese folks, and it's really a good cultural exchange. I hate this because the cost of gas will go up. Girl, it's already going up. It's already going up for us. We hate it too. We hate it too. Trust me. This whole situation, like him becoming a president, is not going to only affect you guys, but also the whole world, but especially us because we're like neighbors to the north. Had a pretty great relationship. But now he's talking about he want to buy Canada, and we're like, Canada's not for sale, bozo. You gonna have to think of something else, sir. But then it's like, us the people, we have no control over this. Like, we just want to live. Why can't we just listen? We just want to live peacefully. That's it. That's all. We don't need to have all this stuff going on. But he's just making it really hard for us. And it's like, I just think, I really hope something positive happens and he just reneges on this and we can work out a resolution. But honestly, a lot of people are going to get laid off. I'm telling y'all, if this goes through, it's not going to be good for either of us. So we want to try to fix it as much as possible. Hopefully Monday. Child, I really don't know why. Right? Why can't we just have the basic necessities? And that's why I was talking about Red Note, because a lot of people are seeing how Chinese people are living. And we were told so much propaganda before. Now, again, are they perfect? Absolutely not. I'm not going to lie. Being in a communist country is not all guns and, all roses and flowers. It's not flowery. However, we're being censored. So what's the difference at this point? Hell, at least them, they have affordable food and they could afford buying houses and stuff. Us, we get censored and we paying high prices. Like, what's the trade-off? I think most people want that despite who they voted for. Most people want peace. Yeah, we all just want to live. That's it. We want to live a good life. Some of us don't need to be rich. We just want to live comfortably. That's it. We want to take care of our families, want to be able to afford the basic necessities of life, want to be able to afford housing. I heard that in China, they don't even get taxed after they buy a property. Once they pay it off, that's it. It belongs to them. And they don't have to pay property taxes on it. For us, we have to continue paying property taxes in perpetuity. That's insane. And Korea is the same as well. Like Western countries, Korea is not much different from us because, again, they follow the capitalistic system. And so it's crazy how the socialist countries, I'll say, listen, we'll talk about that in the Discord. But again, I'm not promoting, the C word. But what I am saying is that maybe it's not as bad as people say it is. And I think a mixture of both, if you have social and might work, especially like if you see in Canada, it does work in certain extents, but in some work, like they've been selling us out too. So yeah, same in America, but depends on what state you live in. Yep. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's crazy. But again, we'll see what happens. But Korea is smart. They aren't following everything America does. They have seen the BS go down. Yeah. Dom told me that they're not playing no more. Because this generation, they call it MZ in Korea, so millennials and Gen Z. And he was like, the reason why the new president or the former impeached president, about to be impeached president, got arrested so quickly. He was like, people ain't got time for the foolishness no more. They are tired. So they're like, we're not gonna wait for this president to finish his run and then impeach him. We're gonna impeach him on the spot. Get him, drag him out, bring him out from where he's at. He was holding himself in his house, barricading himself. They're like, get them barricades down. We're not fooling with y'all no more. We're tired of you guys. They're having their own revolution too. They're sick of it. They're sick because they can't afford now. The cost of housing is so expensive. The cost of living is very expensive. And even they're struggling and they're cheaper than us. So imagine. Dom and I got an apartment for $550 a month when we were in Chuncheon, Korean won. So it'd probably be like, I'd say in at the time, US dollars would probably be like 600 something, maybe 700 for a 2-bedroom. In Canada, we're paying 2,000 for a 1-bedroom and a den. 2,000 Canadian dollars. We must pray for the new administration coming in America. There is a God that sits high and looks low. Amen. Amen. Amen, Twanda. Amen, sis. And that's why I'm not too worried about it. But you just gotta prepare. We just gotta prepare. But I'm still focused on what we're doing. We just gotta focus on what we're doing. Keep learning, keep planning, and we just gonna ride it out for the next 4. Hopefully not 4 years, y'all. I have the 4 years before were it was enough, and I wasn't even there. Now I'm actually close to it, so it's like, dang, the next 4 years is gonna be a difference. Gotta prepare. All right, let's continue. So they said, so the reason why self-deprecation works is because it's tied to Confucianism. They said that a cultural norm and ideal in Asian culture is the achievement and fostering of harmonious interdependence among members of society by having individuals find their appropriate position within the social hierarchy. So everyone has to find their way in the social system. It is considered honorable to sacrifice personal goals for a common group goal if a conflict between the two arises. The private self, y'all listen, this is very important. The private self should be controlled and regulated to achieve the primary task of harmony and oneness. You need to control yourself. You need to control yourself. For in self-control, this is you know what's so funny? Self-control in our culture is almost non-existent. We lack discipline and self-control. I'll be honest. We lack it. We lack discipline and self-control. And that is why a lot of us are not where we need to be in life or where we want to be. Whereas in Asian culture, they have a lot of self-control and discipline. And I see it in my husband. He is extremely disciplined. He doesn't see, it's like he is extremely disciplined. And he has a lot of self-control. He knows how to handle his emotions. That's why they seem stoic to us. A lot of people will say, oh, Asians seem so stoic. They don't show emotions. They don't like to show emotions. They show emotions, but they just know when to show it and when not to. They're not going to freely express themselves like that. But this is how the Asian community is very successful in America. Bingo. Bingo. Because they put themselves down and they see what's for the greater good of everyone. And that is why they're successful. Unfortunately, we lack discipline and self-control. And it was so funny because when I was talking about the actor, the one that got the Instagram model pregnant, I forgot his name, y'all. I always be forgetting his name. I'm sorry if you watch this video. I know he don't speak English, but if his PR or whatever, I'm sorry, sir. I keep forgetting your name, but you seem like a fine man. But he lacks self-control. And that's why Korean people are shunning him right now. Because that's something they do not tolerate. They don't like people who lack self-control and discipline. Yep. Have you ever seen a broke man in Asian man in America? No, you're not going to see a homeless Asian man. And if you do, it's an outlier. He's an outlier or she's an outlier. And they mostly stay to themselves. They do that because of collectivism. They stay within themselves to make themselves better, like to increase their, their community. And you know what's so crazy is like, for us, we lack self-discipline. So yeah, the actor that got the woman pregnant, that's why he's losing out and people are not with it because they're like, you have no self-discipline. Even though he made a mistake, I get it. I wouldn't say a mistake. I don't like to say kids are a mistake. So I'll just say, even though he did something that wasn't like seen as culturally acceptable, he lacked self-discipline. And so he cannot be the face of them. They don't want him to be the face of actors. They don't want him to be the face of Korea. That's how it works. Who got someone pregnant? Okay, I'm gonna tell you. Hold on, we gonna get into this. Hold on. You know what? Let's look up this actor. He's actually really good friends with Lee Jung-jae, the one in Squid Game. So let's check. Korean actor, Instagram model. He got an Instagram model pregnant. Here, his name is Jung Woo Sung. Yeah, Jung Woo Sung. I'm gonna show you who he is. Hold on a second. I'm letting my computer's taking forever. This man right here. This man right here. This man right here. And this man is I'm gonna read it to y'all. This man is an older man. He's a seasoned man. The Instagram model is 35, and he is 51. So to them, they're like, you know better, sir. You are too old for this. And it's not that he couldn't have, had a good time with her, but they're like, why didn't you use protection? Lord have mercy. No, he's not married. He's single. He's been single. That's the thing. He didn't cheat on his wife. He doesn't have a wife. He's single. He's single as a Pringle. He's just a regular single man. But the problem is he lacks self-discipline. That's what the problem is. The problem is he lacks self-discipline and he lacked self-control. He couldn't regulate himself. And so he decided to, enter her raw. As you see, the child is proof of that. And they're not with it. The society was like, no, they're shaming him for that. He will never be the face of a Korean man. They don't want him to be the face. But look at somebody like Future. Let's talk about it. Wake it up. We gonna wake it up. I respect that they don't want their image screwed. Thank you. But for us, we will gladly have somebody like a Future representing the masses, and we will, celebrate a Future. Again, I'm not trying to, say that he's a bad person, but I'm just saying that he got all a litter of kids. We will celebrate a Nick Cannon, a Cam Newton. We will celebrate for the women, we gonna celebrate, you know, the baby mama culture. If I come out right now and I say, you know what, being married is better, get married before having kids, people would drag me. They will drag me. But and then they will defend it and be like, oh, there's nothing wrong with being a baby mama, da 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 da. And in Korea, they don't like that. They don't see that as honorable because what? You lack discipline and self-control. Because yes, if you want to go and sleep with people, that's your business. But again, you're not doing it responsibly because wham, 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 a baby came out. You had unprotected. And again, I'm not saying being a single mom is something to be ashamed of. Sometimes things happen, circumstances happen. I'm talking about the behavior of the recklessness over and over again is my point. But in Korea, you don't even get a second chance. He just did it once and it was enough for them. They were like, no, you don't have enough self-control. You're out. We don't want you representing us. This is not our society. That's what you're going to hear. It's not our culture. And of course, the younger generation, they're like, well, we want to be more free. We want to, do things differently. But again, you can't always it's a lose-lose situation. It's like sometimes things happen. I'm not saying that he didn't deserve to, I don't think he should be punished like this. In my opinion, I think that, he can, take care of his child, but they have zero, I'm telling you, there's zero room for error over there. Because we know those Korean actors are out there getting it in, but you don't know where they business and they rarely have children outside of wedlocks. That's the difference. Exactly. They know that people are doing that. They know it. Everyone knows it. Come on now. It'd be silly for them to think that this man has been single that long and he's not getting it in. But the point is he wasn't doing it responsibly. And then he wasn't doing it in a way where it wouldn't affect him. Like you can see it now in the public. You have a child. So obviously everyone knows that you were sleeping around. Unprotected, might I add. So for them, that's a big no-no. So yeah, discipline and self-control is huge for the collective good of society. And that is why they get further ahead than us. We lack discipline and self-control. And that always will fail you in everything in life, including myself. I'm not perfect either. Weight loss. The only reason I'm starting to lose weight right now is discipline and self-control. Let me show y'all. Let's prove it. Let me walk y'all to the board. Let's walk to the board. Because hell, if I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to show y'all. Yup. Exactly, Tyra. And exactly, Twanda. Yup. Both of you guys are right. Yep. I'm telling y'all, they want to make an example of him. They want to show that you can't be going around doing this. January. I started the month at, I didn't weigh myself here. 87.3 kilos. That's like about 191 pounds. I'm gonna be honest and transparent with y'all. Here, 87, 86. Went down. Today, I am at 85. I went from 87 to 85 in 2 weeks. Discipline and self-control. Those are two things that I will adopt from Asian culture from now on. Because I'm telling y'all, it does work. If you can self-control yourself and, kind of have that kind of discipline and self-control, you're going to make it. Yes, girl, this week I had more salads, baby. That's what I'm saying. And I'm noticing, Tyra, just keep going. Thank you, sis. Thank you. I'm just starting. I'm getting there though, but the weight is slowly going down. And I'm telling you, for the past few years, I was blaming it on everything but my discipline and self-control. Is the food. I'm gluten intolerant. Oh, it's because, I just can't work out. I can't go to the gym every day. I'm tired after. I made so many excuses. Y'all, I have not touched the gym since I left my membership last year. How am I still losing weight? The food. It's the food. It's the food. And now I don't want to gatekeep. I will eventually. I can't reveal what I've been doing because I'm part of a challenge, because it's my cousin's challenge, and she has to protect her the challenge because it's hers, and she wants to refine the meals and stuff. But honestly, it's really discipline and self-control. I'm being honest with y'all. Discipline and self-control. And my weight has slowly been going down. I have not been to the gym yet. I have not been in the gym since last year. Since I canceled my membership in September. I barely go on walks now, because I've been so focused on like school, work, all that stuff. Now I got a gym in my new apartment that I'm gonna be going to. But my point is that you don't need much. Discipline, self-control, those two things will get you so much further in life. Let's continue really quickly. I'm at one. Okay, I can still go. So now they said that they were talking about filial piety towards one's parents. Twanda said, Romy, oh, thank you, MM. Romy, do you remember a wellness show from South Korea called Vitamins? No, I never watched it. I might need to. What is it about, sis? You won't tell me. They said that there's 3 bonds and 5 relations. And it emphasizes the hierarchical and social relationships and obligations in society. And then it is believed that social stability and harmony depends on the observance of the relationship. So we went over self-deprecation and how important it is in collectivist culture. And they just talk about filial piety in Asian language. And they said that the interdependent self-control in Asian cultural context is likely to influence how individuals interact with each other, where self-deprecating language is often used to achieve the goal of interaction that is harmonious, equilibrium, or absolute reciprocity. So y'all, it's crazy. It's crazy how they view it. It's about taking care of your body through holistic medicine. I think I remember, I don't know if it's the one where they would do like these ginseng kind of recipes. Maybe it's that one, but I don't remember if that's the same one. But yeah, you got to take care of your body. I'm telling y'all. And I used to, like I said, I thought it was everything else. Oh, is this, is that. Oh, it's because, maybe I'm just a thickums. I can't lose weight anymore. I'm too old. I blame it on age, or I'm getting older. Y'all, the pounds are dropping off. I'm about to be 39 next month. This is the fastest I've dropped weight in a long time. And it's because of discipline and self-control. That's it. That's all. I'm just cutting out a lot of stuff and just trying to be more disciplined about my eating, and not just, binge eating and, oh, I'm going to take it because I crave it, so I'm going to eat what I want. I eat a little bit of it, but I'm not going to binge eat like before, right? So there's that. All right, let's continue. This is the last article. Hold on, I have maybe 2 more. Self-criticism, social self-criticism, and shaping of Chinese national identity. This is good, y'all. This is historical. All right, we're going to get into it. The influence of social self-criticism, or SSC, on the Chinese national spirit is a complex and dynamic process that has shaped the identity and development of China throughout its history. The concept of social self-criticism involves individuals or groups within a society engaging in critical reflection and evaluation of their own beliefs, actions, and behaviors within a communal context. It can be voluntary or coerced, and its impact on society is multifaceted. It can promote cultural conformity, social control, and psychological effects ranging from empowerment to distress. While constructive self-criticism can foster cohesion, accountability, and innovation, coercive forms may suppress dissent and autonomy. So there's basically saying that if you do it out of your own will, it's okay. But if it's forced, this is when it becomes a problem. Because if the state, remember, China is a communist country. So if the state forces you to be like North Korea, they want you to say everything wrong with yourself. So Kim Jong-un could feel good about himself. Like, yeah, I know I'm a poor, lazy bastard. Yes, that's right. You are. That's in North Korea, self-deprecation is for survival. You need it for survival because you got to be self-deprecating. You got to show that you're less than a human in order for the state. Oh, the state gives you everything. You should be grateful. Kiss my knees, kiss my feet, kiss the ring. But in China, it's a little different. Now, they said in China, this phenomenon has had a profound impact on the Chinese national spirit, and it refers to collectivist values, character, and identity of the nation. So let's see where this self-criticism comes from. We're going to go through history. It is ingrained in Confucian values, such as respect for authority and social conformity. And it can discourage questioning and independent thought, potentially constraining the development of critical thinking skills. Now, here is saying that, like, pride is not good. You cannot be prideful in China. That's not seen as a good thing. And they said that criticism activity means the individual subjects depart from the need to criticize the negative aspects of the object and form an awareness of negative value. And it's an evaluation activity. So basically they see self-criticism as evaluating your own self-awareness. Like, I'm not good enough. I'm ugly. I'm fat. I'm poor. I'm not smart. That is self-awareness to them. Whereas us is self-deprecation. But for them, they're like, no, that's not self-deprecation. That's actually you being very aware of your shortcomings. That's good for the country. That's good for us. And they said that basically it comes from Marxist-Leninist ideals. That's a whole political theory, y'all. I can't get too much into that. That's a whole nother video. But I did study that in my Chinese history briefly, my Chinese history class briefly. And they said that hold on, social reform. Hold on. Let me go through this because it's a lot, y'all. I don't want to read through all this. I'm going to read the important parts. They're basically saying throughout Chinese history, this social self-criticism has been able to thrive because it helps the economy or it helps the community be better. Because you're not putting yourself on a pedestal and you're not self-grandest. Like, basically you're not inflating a sense of self is what they're saying. And they said it's relevant to societal development in China, and it plays a significant role in shaping the nation's collective identity, values, and governance. By critically evaluating its actions and policies, China can identify areas for improvement, adapt to changing circumstances, and promote a more inclusive and dynamic society. So they're saying that you being self-deprecating is actually good because you're going to pinpoint all of the bad things, all the negative things, and then it's going to make you a better person. That's crazy, right? So actually, in Eastern culture, if you're a self-deprecator, you'll fit right into Eastern culture. 100%. They're going to be like, yes, you are a loser. What you going to do about it? Yes, you're a bum. You're a bum B. What you going to do about it? You're not smart. What are you going to do about it? Whereas in our culture, it's like people will either laugh at you or tell you not to do it. Like I did in the video, Western culture. I told you guys to unlearn it without even doing this research. That was before I did this research, by the way. And now I'm starting to think that, maybe in the way that it's done is different, right? So maybe you being negative about yourself, it's not about you being negative about yourself and just being negative about yourself. If you're negative about yourself, maybe it's about, from the Chinese perspective, you're being self-evaluating and you got to find a way to improve it. So actually self-deprecation might not be so bad after all, in a weird way. So if you feel like, oh, I'm too fat, I can't fit into my clothes, I can't believe I gained all this weight, as I was a few months ago, what you gonna do about it? You gonna keep saying you fat or what? Well, what you gonna do for the greater good of the society? Because you being fat is not working for you, and it ain't working for us either. So what you gonna do about it? Are you gonna lose weight, or are you just gonna talk and complain? You gonna get on weight? What was it called? Not Jenny Craig. Child, what am I saying? Jenny Craig. The other one. Oh my God, Weight Watchers. You gonna get on Weight Watchers? Or you just gonna sit in front of your TV every day and not do something about it? Isn't that crazy, right? Yeah. So that's how they see it in China. And they went through like different revolutionary periods, like during the New Culture movement, Mao Zedong, Chairman Mao Zedong movement. I probably said his name wrong. And then there were just so many different ones. And yeah, and so they were saying how it is basically something that is seen very well in Chinese culture. And it helps promote the national spirit and also development. So that's why they've been able to develop so quickly and so fast, is because they always look at the negative things that they're doing and they try to fix it. Before, they didn't have a lot of, resources, or they didn't have high technology a long time ago. Before, like China was at, especially under Chairman Mao, That's when they had, I think, I don't remember, it was him or who opened the borders. One of them opened the border, or Deng Xiaoping. I don't remember who it was. But I think, oh yeah, it was him, Deng Xiaoping. So it said that reform is China's second revolution. So basically, he looked at all the other countries and he was like, okay, we're not doing well by being closed off to foreigners, because China was very risk averse to letting foreigners come into the country and also doing business with foreigners. And so he was like, you know what? Let's critically analyze our country right now. We want to get bigger. We want to get the country to the point where it's going to be prosperous. We have to start letting people in. And we can't keep gatekeeping everything. So they see self-deprecation as a good thing and self-criticism as a good thing, because then they were able to look at all their policies and see that actually we're not that great. We think we're such a great country, and yeah, China's this and China's no, we suck compared to America. We're seeing all these other countries kind of thriving, and look at us, like we have these bare bones systems, and we want to be a world leader too. We don't want to just look at people playing. We want to play the game too. So what are we going to do to fit into the game? Dating. I'm going to stop it here because I've been talking too long. We're going to talk about dating. Wait, I'll go into one more article about Taiwan and then I'll get into dating and then I'm done. They said Taiwanese democracy. So same thing with China, mainland China, and Taiwan. Taiwanese democracy is the result of resisting martial law under the Chinese Nationalist Party. However, the consolidation of democracy is still unfinished because of a lack of self-criticism and half-formed national subjectivity. So they want more self-criticism. They said that it would seem as if the problem rests solely with those who came and dominated us, placing responsibility from this domination solely at the feet of, I don't know what KMT is. What's KMT? Oh, Chinese Nationalist Party. They said that they need to be more self-critical. And they said that South Korea, so in this article, they said South Korea, which was also colonized by Japan after gaining independence after World War II, and despite the division of the Korean Peninsula into North and South Korea after the Korean War, has a continuous history of self-criticism and self-rectification. So Koreans are very critical and self-rectification. In South Korean culture, people continue to reckon with their history and examine themselves. They are very self-critical. We lack that. We're going to talk about that. We lack that in North America. People are not self-critical. If they were, we wouldn't be half of where we are, we wouldn't be where we are right now. This is the reason why Mr. Orange, Agent Orange, was able to come into the presidency. This is the reason why we have really bad race relations in North America. Canada's included in certain ways. But I will say this, at least one thing I will say about Canadians is that at least they recognize it. They will recognize it, because right now they're trying to right their wrongs. They might be doing it a little too extreme right now, but they're trying, right? And I'm not saying Americans aren't trying, but what I'm trying to say is that if we really sat there and reflected all of the negative things that we've done and we tried to fix it, if the country was really on that, then we would be in a way better situation. But instead, we have people who deny and deflect, not reflect. When you deny and deflect, this is what happens. You get somebody like, President Orange, that's going to come into the country and make it seem like if you're reflecting and trying to be more inclusive, then you're too woke and it's wrong. Things need to go back to where they were. We need to be in denial. But with them, they think differently. They want to self-reflect on it and they examine themselves. Now, am I going to say that South Korea is perfect? Absolutely not. And also remember, South Korea is a homogenous country, so it's easier for them to do this. When you live in a diverse country with too many people, too many different thoughts and viewpoints, this is what happens. It's hard for people to be self-aware and to examine themselves on a deeper level, because there's always going to be a group of people who wants to conquer someone else. To be honest with you, we're going to talk about race relations a little bit here. A lot of people don't want to admit the wrongs of their ancestors. That's why they say, oh, why do you guys need reparations? Or slavery was over a long time ago. Thank you. That's where I'm going with this, Wanda. Exactly. Why are we still talking about this? You weren't enslaved. We're still talking about it because there's no self-reflection, there's no self-examination, and there's no reason, there's no, like, it's like everything that especially Black people have fought for. I'm gonna say, listen, I gotta be real with y'all. We're gonna be open and transparent on this live. Everything that Black people have fought for, other people of color have fought for, has been people of color fighting for it. It's not because they self-reflected and gave it to us. There's a big difference. Everything had to be fought for. Crazy, right? Everything had to be fought for, not given. So now that means that there's a lack of self-accountability, self-reflection. They're not, I'm telling y'all, you fighting for it. They're not going to give it to you unless you fight for it. So even with the TikTok ban, something as simple as that, they'll come up with every excuse to, they're not thinking about the millions of people who will be unemployed. Right now, inflation is high. Some people, this is their only source of income. Some businesses, that's how they reach their audiences. And yeah, people can say, oh yeah, they should have thought about this before and diversified. Listen, sometimes people don't have time for that. They're trying to make money and survive in this capitalistic system. Everyone's trying to survive. Now they got to fight hard and do petitions to keep this app open. Because everything that you want, you have to fight for. But then, yeah, I don't like the dismissive either. Dismissive. So it's very disrespectful to the people. And I'm telling you, people don't respect influencers. And I'm saying this as a person who is, I am an influencer in certain ways. I don't really call myself an influencer. I'm just more of a person who likes to yap and get on this app. But I will say that people don't respect them because they see it as it's not a job. And it's mostly jealous. Oh, we're going to get up. I'm telling y'all, after the dating series, we're going to get into jealousy. Jealousy is a big one. They're jealous because they can't do, a lot of influencers get paid very well with brand deals. They get a lot of money. Some people make my yearly salary in a month. And so when they hear that TikTok's closing, they're happy. Oh, y'all should get real jobs. You need to get real jobs. But then, you know what, Tyra? Let me tell you something. They make money so easily, but I'm going to tell you something, real stuff right now. They make money easily, and everybody should be able to do that. It shouldn't just be TikTok. It should be all over. We should be able to all make money. Why aren't we? We all have different skills. Everybody should be able to eat. As many people live in the US, as many people live in Canada, we all have something unique about us that we can sell and give to others. That's how it used to be before. We barter. We should all be able to do it. But no, they want to market it and capitalize off of it. And so that's what I'm saying. They didn't give us, integration didn't just come because they just gave it to us. And I'm putting us in there. I know I'm not Black American, but I would just say us because I am Black and I'm in solidarity with y'all. So bear with me here. But yeah, integration didn't come just because they gave it to us. People had to fight for it and die for it. No self-reflection at all. Crazy, right? But in capitalistic society, in order for it to be truly functional, someone has to be on the bottom. It's sad, but true. Exactly. And that's why I was saying that, like, now you realize when you look at Red Note and you see how Chinese people are living. And people are upset, especially people who are non-melanated. And they're like, oh man, I feel like we're getting robbed because we don't have, like, they have cheap groceries. They get to have affordable housing. They can buy houses and we can't. We're just fighting to survive because we live in a society where, exactly, people got to be on top. And unfortunately, if you want to be on top, you have to like make someone, the people at the bottom, you have to like kind of like, I don't want to say this. How can I say this in a way that YouTube's not going to strike me? You got to make people put people at the bottom and treat them badly, basically, and less than human. But now it's getting to the point where the gap is so big and wide that some of the non-melanated folks that thought they were special and that thought they could eat at the big table, they're realizing that they was just eating scraps off the floor. We wasn't even invited to the table. They were invited to the table, but guess what? They was eating scraps off the floor. They was on the floor and other people sitting there eating the real dinner. So now it's messed up. Anyway, my point is that we've had to fight for everything and there's no self-reflection. And so when when you live in a country where there's lack of self-reflection and how we can be better to the people, that's why countries like Korea, Japan, China, they're able to move on because they're all it's a homogenous country. So then there's no color hierarchy for them. I live in the South in America, and I was at McDonald's and I heard a white teenager bragging to a Korean teenager on how racist, yep, how to be racist towards Black people. I was in shock to hear this day and age. I'm not surprised because they're teaching them that. And that's why when you go to Korea, sometimes people, they have the opposite view of you because they're like, oh, wow, that's not what I was told on the media. Yep, you have to put limits and ceilings in the way. Now that social media, anyone can have access to making real money. Exactly. And it's scary to them. Because think about it, if a lot of people are able to make it, especially, and I think that's what made TikTok so unique because their algorithm was crazy. Technology, let me tell y'all something. I got time today. Technology in other countries is way more advanced than ours. We live in the Stone Ages compared to them. I'm being real with y'all. Especially in Canada, North America, whatever you want to say, we're so behind because our leaders want to focus more on other things. They don't want to focus on technology. But the thing about Asian countries that sets them apart, including Japan, it fell off a little bit, but they were the giants of technology. Hell, my camera is from Japan. It's a Sony. TV from South Korea. The only thing that's American in my house that's a technological company is Apple. That's it. Yeah, we have a few, but compared to China, you're way behind. They already have, let me tell y'all, they could probably scan your eye and you can get into somewhere. They don't use cards anymore. They've been ahead of us. They're at least 50 years ahead of us, no joke. Their train system, when I went to Korea, I was shocked at how fast their high-speed train system was. You could get across the country in such a short amount of time. In Canada, please, let that train is going, let it not break down. Let it not break down. So worried about what other countries are doing and not worried about the people in the country. How about that? Twanda said we have a large population of Koreans because of Hyundai and other Korean car plants. Exactly. They're building. They're the ones who came up with the semiconductors. Semiconductors, that's the reason why a lot of things are working right now, especially vehicles. Also, this is why some are not loving the fact that women like Romy are around making channels speaking to Black women about making their better choices in relationship. They need us to keep having babies out of wedlock to build the working class. Thank you, Tyra. Thank you, sis. And you know what? Like, I used to spend time being like, dang, like, why nobody listening to my content? Like, not nobody. I know you guys are listening. But I'm saying, like, oh, how come I'm not being pushed in the algorithm? But now I realize it's because I'm speaking too much. I'm talking too much real stuff. But you know what? If you're here and you're listening. And I want us to be better because there needs to be a lot of us, all of us included in this chat, or whoever's watching. There need to be more of us, and we need to keep making progress and stop, stop falling into the propaganda that we need to be a certain way in order to be socially accepted. We don't need to be the working class. Again, I love being a worker. I love, like, my job is what I'm saying. I love my career. Don't get me wrong. But that's not the end all be all for everybody. For some people, maybe entrepreneurship is your calling. But all I'm saying is you just got to be responsible about it, but you should achieve it. We need to have financial independence so we can start building our communities. But this is why why is North America being slow about technology? Because they don't want you to have something. They don't want it. They don't want us to have anything. They don't want it. They don't, because the thing is, okay, you got to remember too, like, okay, if we start making moves and we start because think about it, like, okay, let's say all the women in my chat right now, which we are doing, we decide that, okay, we're going to start living, we're going to lose weight. If you're not healthy, some of us are fit, but if you're unfit, we're going to lose weight. We're going to tackle our finances, pay our debt off. Then we are going to save up for retirement. We're going to have kids responsibly and not just by help. We're going to actually plan our children and have them when we're financially stable and able to. And you don't have to be financially stable, but you should be able to feed your kids. Let's just put it that way. We're going to have multiple streams of income. So that way, if we lose an employment or something, we don't have to rely on government help or unemployment. We'll be okay. We'll have a safety nest egg. We'll have savings. If you do all those things, you're not going to rely on a doctor anymore, because chances are, I'm not saying you can't get sick when you're healthy, but your chances decrease. You're not going to be pill popping. Second, you're going to be out of debt. That means that you're no longer going to rely on credit cards the way you used to. You'll use it wisely. You'll be in a way different bracket. You'll be able to purchase more, own more. 3, you don't have to rely on a job for your paycheck. You'll have multiple streams of income. So if something doesn't work out, at least you'll be able to finalize yourself and fund yourself in other ways. And you'll just live a better, fulfilling life. You don't have to work where you don't need to work. You don't have to feel stressed. They want you to be a SLAVE to your job, because then it's going to make them richer. Peep that. Peep that. Yep, become the best versions of ourselves, and we go against the status quo, and now we're the ones shopping midday with provider husbands. Amen. Exactly. You will no longer have to answer to anyone, single or not, married or not. You won't be able to afford your lifestyle, and then you can take your time. I'm not saying take all the time in the world. Nah, this is what I'm saying. You just got to balance it out. But then you don't have to rush and marry someone just because, oh my God, I don't know how to survive by myself, so I'm just going to marry someone out of that. Oh my God, I'm so scared, I'm going to marry someone or anyone. You can actually have choices, and you'll be able to travel more, live life more, go to different countries, meet different people, have different experiences, get your education. You'll actually have time to do those things. And instead of just working till die, that's pretty much what you're doing in this North America, Canada included. Yep. Women, you're going to be good either way. That's the point. That's the point of my channel. It's like, whether you're single, and that's why I remember Dom asked me, he was like, well, like Dom always, like, he always tries to like see what I'm doing, and he always gives me like really good advice. Obviously that's my husband, and we kind of support each other. Not kind of, we do support each other. But I could have made my channel about married women. I could have just been like, you know what, let me just focus on the married ladies, like how to keep your husband and how to da 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 da. No, because I think that all women deserve greatness, whether you're single or not. It's irrelevant to me. Now, if you're single, I'm gonna be a little harder on you because I want you to do better. Because I wish I had that in my life. I'm gonna whip you right into shape. And if you're married, I can be an inspo to you, because I don't have it all together in my marriage, and we're doing amazingly well because we are able to be vulnerable and open with each other and communicate with each other and be deep with each other. However, what I will say is this, like, I want us all to win, whether you're single or not. Because in this economy, especially if you're a woman of color, especially y'all, especially not, nothing against my white women, but I will say women of color, especially Black women, it's time for us to uplift. We need to uplift each other and get each other to where we need to be. Because I'm telling y'all, if we adopted the mindset that the Asians have, we're going to be a force to reckon with in this economy. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring something up too. During the Great Depression, Black families were thriving, whereas a lot of other families weren't. Why? Because Black families were not able to bank because of segregation. They weren't able to bank. And so Black families in America, I should say, they weren't able to put their money into banks because they weren't allowed to, into the bigger institutions. So when the Great Depression happened, their money was in the shoe boxes, mama, daddy house, under somebody's couch. And they were able to thrive during the Great Depression. Whereas other people, unmelanated people, they weren't, because all their money was tied up in the bank. And so, like I said, integration was never about, and I got this from Cecilia Regina, so I'm gonna shout her out. Cecilia Regina 275, y'all should watch her channel. She drops some really good gems. I love her content. But she said this in her channel, where she said that, where she was talking about integration, and she said it wasn't never about economics, because economically it doesn't make sense to not be integrated, because actually it was, slavery was financially irresponsible. It was like basically you're not making money off of slavery. Slavery was not profitable. It was more profitable to have people getting paid wages and to have the system that we have now. Well, not now, but because now our system's crazy. We need to restart over. Like we need to reprogram our system. But my point is that segregation was never profitable. But why did they do it? Because of power. Power. Because they don't want you doing better. That's the point. Because we're in a capitalist, Tyra said it perfectly. We're in capitalist system. In this system, you need someone at the bottom. And unfortunately, we're the weakest link. We still are. I hate to say it. I really don't want to say it like that, but we are the weakest link. Our community is in shambles. That's all over the world. Not just, and I hate when people just say, oh, Black Americans are this. No, it's not just Black Americans. Everywhere. Look at the Caribbean. Yeah, we have some good countries. We have Bahamas. We have all these other Caribbean, but they're small countries. We don't have a giant, like now the continent is becoming better. Absolutely. Now it's starting to become better. But for the longest time, we didn't have that, especially in North America. And so now that's why people can disrespect us, because we don't have anything as far as economically together as a collective. And when people get rich, they don't want nothing to do with the poor, low Black people. They want to be where the other white folks are, right? That's how it works. But anywho, point is that during the Great Depression, Black folks were doing really well. And I want that to be the case for us during this Great Depression that's about to come up on Monday. I'm not ready. Listen, I don't know what's going to happen after Monday, y'all. But I'm still going to be here, and we're going to be supporting each other. We're going to be in the Discord chatting and kicking. But what I will say is I want us to survive and thrive, even during this depression. Because at the end of this period, however long it lasts, I want all of us to have our money up, our debt down. I want all of us to be in a way better mental headspace. And I want us in 5 years from now, mark my words, 5 years from now, I will make another video and come back here and be like, what did you accomplish between 2025 to 2030? And all of us better have a good results. All of us in here. So yeah. So anywho, I will just say this, like I was going to finish reading this, but yeah, like they need this. They need self-deprecation. Self-deprecation has made homogenous countries and collectivist countries, especially in East Asia, a better society. Now, again, like I said, Korea is not perfect. They have a lot of social issues, a lot. And they have an issue with like capitalists, especially with the chaebols. And a lot of people at the bottom are not getting but this is one thing. This is the funniest thing about Korea that I'll talk about. Hold on. Let me check my battery, y'all. I'll be yapping. Okay, I'm at 31%. I'm still good. Let me tell y'all something about Korea really quickly, and then I'm going to end this chat. Korea, especially from my experience, there are a lot of business owners in Korea. A lot. There are a lot of small business owners in Korea. And in Korea, business is seen as something like it's very competitive. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. A lot of companies fail within the first 2 years, as they do here. However, what I will say is that there's still an opportunity to make a business for yourself and make something for yourself, right? Whereas I feel like here it used to be that way back in the day. However, now it's like it's so hard to start a business. Nobody has money. And then if you have funding, if you need to get funding, they're going to ask you for XYZ. Now it's even harder, especially for small business owner. I think there was a percentage. I'm going to even tell y'all. They said business loans given out. Let me give y'all a percentage, especially to people of color, Black people. When I say people of color, I'm talking about Black folks here, especially Black people. Let me tell y'all something. And I remember there was a woman, she wanted to give money to Black women. She was a Black woman and she wanted to give funds to Black women only, and that they shut her down because they're like, oh, it's racist, all this stuff. But then you have people in other races that are able to have their own like fintech companies or their own like what is it called, the people who give loans, I forgot what it's called, but they're able to have their own. There's a Jewish one, there's an Asian one, they're able to have it. But when it's Black people, once Black people start doing something, Again, same thing with the TikTok ban. Once black people started making a lot of money, oh no, we can't let y'all Negroes get money. We can't let that happen. Let me tell y'all, hold on. Percentage of black people. Percentage of, let's say, people. Black people who get business funding. Here we go. So, here. Data by the Federal Reserve. This is by Yahoo. Data by the Federal Reserve. This is in America. Shows that black business owners have a harder time securing funds for their businesses than white business owners. On average, 35% of white business owners received all the financing they applied for compared to 16% of black business owners. 35 to 16%. That's half. And you don't even get all that you want. So when people say, oh, you're supposed to start a business, blah, 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 blah. It's hard. It's not hard. It's not easy for you. Yeah, this woman sells books on Amazon KDP and she promoted her book for over a year and it went viral and she made $60,000 in a month and they suspended her account. What? Her account was banned for dumb reasons. Yeah, they don't want you making the money. It's harder. That's crazy. Imagine how many other people use Amazon KDP and make that much money. There are probably people who make way more money than her, but because, again, she's a person of color, it's a problem. It's a problem. That's what I'm saying. Here in Canada, who are black business owners in Canada? More than 2/3 of black business owners are men. Men. More than half of black business owners are immigrants in Canada. In Canada. So that lets you know that it's look at this. The number, hold on, let me show y'all. This is Statistics Canada. It's very important. I know I went from self-deprecation to reparations. They banned her because she was making too much cash and they didn't want to pay her. That's all that was. Again, they don't want you to, when you do it, it's a problem. When other people do it, it's not a problem. This was in 2018. They said, this was from Statistics Canada before y'all come for me. Statistics Canada. Not y'all. I'm talking about people watching it. And not y'all. Y'all are great. Number of proportion of business owners by sex and racial profile. Look at white people. Men. And of course, there are more white people in Canada, so we'll say that. But look at the disparity here. Men and women. Men, white men, 1 million, 1.4 million. Women, 861,000 white women own a business. Black people, 47,000 men and 19,000 women. Look at the difference here. Look at that. Look at that. And look at other racialized groups. This includes Asians, y'all. 471,000. They're almost up there with them. And they're 254,000. And then you wonder what's going on with our communities, why we don't never have nothing, right? At the Dub Studio said, I think when they came out with the internet, they never thought people would be making the kind of money people made. Before the YouTube ad apocalypse, even small 40K subscribers were pulling in 15K. Yep. Now you could barely even get, big channels are struggling. 15K a month. Yeah, they didn't realize that regular people were going to like regular people so much. Now people don't watch TV anymore. I barely watch TV. I just watch TV for streaming. And most of the time, sometimes I watch TV here and there, but mostly I'm on YouTube. I'm on socials. I'm on TikTok, or was. I'm still going to be on TikTok whether it gets banned or not. And that's because regular people trust regular people more. I would trust, let me tell you, if at the Dub Studio you made a commercial right now and I saw it across the screen, I would trust you more than I would trust some the ads that are coming on my television. People prefer regular people over celebrity because they're relatable. That's why y'all like me. I'm saying that. We don't do self-deprecation in this one. But what I'm trying to say is that this is why you guys like me, is because I'm real. I'm being honest. I know that. And Real recognize real. All of y'all are real too. I don't come on here with an air about myself. Hell, look at the background. Look at my background. I don't have the crazy lighting. Look at this lighting right here. This is what I got right here. Most of the time, I be coming out here, my lips chapped as heck. I had to buy some Blistex the other day. I was like, oh no, the other day my lips were way too chappy. Here, most of the time, I be looking crazy on this app. But y'all love your girl. You love me. And I love y'all too because I keep it real. Because why? I'm a real person with real bills, real debt, and real problems. When I shut this off, I'm a real wife. I'm a real sister. I'm a real mom. Not mom. Oh my God, speaking it into existence. But I'm a real daughter, is what I meant to say. I'm real. I'm a real person. You and I are not much different because we have the same experiences. The problem with celebrities is that, again, I'm not saying some of them are not relatable. That's actually why I like Cardi B. I think she's super relatable in certain ways. But at the same time, a lot of people, her future mom, yeah, I know. I don't know. I feel like it's gonna happen soon. I don't know why. I just get that feeling. It's gonna happen eventually. I know it just slipped out. It's a what's it called? A Freudian slip or whatever. But hey, it happens, right? But yeah, like seriously, I'm just a real human. And also, I'm not saying celebrities aren't, but they don't feel the same issues you do. They're in a different tax bracket. But y'all, I'm in the same tax bracket as y'all, if not probably lower. I'm just trying to make it out here. That's what I'm trying to do. But at the same time, I love the fact that we can connect with each other and I understand. So when someone says, "Oh, I'm having trouble getting into relationships," I feel that because I had that happen to me. I had that happen to me. I feel it. I'm single. I've been single for a long time. I want to find somebody. I feel it because that was me. I don't know what I want to do in my career. I want to travel the world. I don't like going. I don't like following the grain. I'm not this. I don't follow societal norms like other people. I want to be different. I want to be unique. I want to pay off debt. I want to retire well. I don't want to wait until I'm 60 to live my life. We're all similar, walking down similar paths. But yeah. Anyway, do you guys have any last minute questions? I just want to say, like, this year, next week is my last video as far as with this series. I'm going to talk about anxious and avoidant attachment styles. This will be a really good one because it's going to segue to February. Dreams about fishes pregnancy. Probably, yeah. I heard of that too. People be having dreams and stuff. Oh, thanks, y'all. Thanks. Eventually it'll happen, I'm not worried about that. But I know God is in control. That's how I always see it too, right? But I'm being proactive. I'm losing my weight and I'm trying to get healthy because heck, if these kids come, how they gonna have a mama who's unhealthy? I'm already older. So imagine like, I'm having a kid at a certain age and then I can't keep up with them and I don't want to die early. Not for the simple fact that I'm scared, but it's that it wouldn't be fair to them for me to bring them into this world and I'm not even here to help them, at least in their formative years, right? That would be unfair to them. So I want to make myself as healthy as possible so then when I do bring children, I would have a higher chance of actually like having a successful birth. And also we have the Black mortality rate too, right? It's real. So I got to be careful. Romy, I must apologize for not responding to the subjects you brought up, but I'm a caregiver to 96-year-old grandparents. You are? I didn't know that. Wow. How does it feel being a caregiver to grandparents that are 96? That's tough. It's tough being a caregiver, man. Like, I'm not even a caregiver yet and I'm already struggling, but my parents depend on me a lot as far as like with like things, right? Yeah, Twanda, I'm gonna pray for you, man. I'm gonna pray for your strength because it's not easy. And as parents and grandparents age, it takes a lot out of you because you gotta remember you've seen your parents from when you were young, right? And then now you see them in their older stage and it's just so different. It's so different seeing your parents in such a vulnerable time, or grandparents too, right? You can remember when they were healthy and young and vibrant, and now you have to care for them. I have a cousin of mine, she's taking care of her parents and she's having a hard time too because it's like you, especially when they're sick, that's when it becomes hard, right? And If they're healthy, it's even better. But if they're unhealthy, man, it's tough because you have to make sure that they're walking, they can stand, make sure that the nurse or whoever whoever is taking care of them is doing it properly. You have to make sure they're fed. You have to kind of sacrifice your life and put your life on hold for them. And you can't just be leaving the country and doing whatever you want. You actually have to care for them. And I hats off to you for real. Tyra, you were right. Hats off to her for real because it's not easy. I think about it too with my parents. I'm gonna probably talk about that in the future. My parents are still relatively young, but they're getting older, and eventually we're gonna have to take care of them, right? So it's something that I am aware of and cognizant of, and we have to have money for that, y'all. Estate planning, insurance. The other day, Dom was talking about life insurance. We got to get that together. And even just us talking about where we're going to be buried, how we're going to be buried. It was such an uncomfortable conversation in the sense that, like, I never talked about that with him, but I felt excited in a way because I was like, yes, like, I want to be able to plan that stuff. Like, yes, we're breaking generational trauma. We're not scared to talk about things like that. We're going to prepare ourselves. It's extremely hard because I came home to take care of my mother, but she passed. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, sis. And then my grandmother had a stroke a week after my mom passed away. Oh my, I'm so sorry to hear that, Twanda. My condolences to you for losing your mom. I don't know that experience, but I can only imagine the pain that it brings and that you're probably still healing from it. So my condolences to you, sis. What I will say is this that you know, things are tough. I know for you. And like you said, your grandma had a stroke right after. She was probably heartbroken, 100% heartbroken. It's a real thing. When what do they call it? The heartbreak syndrome. Like it's like when a close one or loved one passes away and you're so torn up about it that your heart breaks and then your health just starts to deteriorate. It happens to a lot of people. So prayers to your grandma. But the fact that you're even taking care of them, that's amazing in itself. I know so many people wouldn't be able to do it and they just chuck them in a nursing home. Real talk. I know so many people who do that. And the fact that you're even taking care of them, that's so commendable to me. So I'm really proud of you. If you haven't heard it from anyone, I'm very proud of you. And I'm very, very, very proud. And I know that your grandparents are going to be happy for you and that you're going to remember taking care of them with fondness. Tyra said I got sick the week my dad passed away. Oh my gosh. Yeah, my condolences to you, sis. I know we talked about it a bit. But it's not easy, man. Like when your parents, like the fact that you were sick the week he passed away, yeah, like people can feel it. We don't talk about it one day. Like there was actually, like, I read a lot of paranormal things and about spirituality. And I know that, I like prescribe to the Christian worldview. However, I do like to listen to other people's worldviews too. And there were these hospice nurses and they were talking about how usually before someone passes away other people could feel it and in a weird way and other people get the signal. Amen. Her creative mind, we got to cherish them before it's too late. Yep. And taking care of them too. And I've been thinking about that too, like even with my parents or even Dom's parents. I was like, yo, if they get sick, they're gonna come over here, we're gonna take care of them. We're gonna take care of them. And sometimes it's like that where you got to put your life on hold for others. But I'm telling you, you will be blessed, Wanda. And Tyra, you're going to be blessed too. It's not easy, especially the grief process, but you're going to get through it. And when Dom recently, when he lost his grandma, he's still going through the grief process. But what I will say is that sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. But at the same time, like I just know you'll be blessed. I know that for a fact. Tyra said, I knew he was about to go. I could see it. We visited him a bit before. Yeah. A lot of people said that they just had that feeling or they had a dream or they had the premonition. And then the people who were sick or who were about to pass away, they would see like their siblings or grandparents or people who had crossed over to the other side come and take them and bring them back to where they're supposed to go. And I always say that, for me, I talk about my beliefs. I be believing this. I'm telling you, I believe this. I believe that there's another dimension. Hear me out. And it says it in the Bible too. So I know I'm not wrong. And every other religion has it in a different way. But I do believe that, once we pass, like this experience here is just for us to pass a test of life and we get in a physical body, and eventually we are in another body in another place, right? So I don't know. People believe in different things, but I just believe that, whoever is out there, especially my grandparents, whoever on the other side, that they're there. I don't believe that we just pass away and then that's the end. I don't believe that in the slightest, because the world is too synchronized for me to believe that. In actual, I don't think anything is an accident, in my opinion. Anyways, that's my belief. But yeah, hold on to your loved ones, like her creative mindset, but also we're gonna prepare and get ourselves financially stable so we can take care of them. Because it's hard. I'm telling y'all, imagine if you don't have money and you can't take care of your grandparents or your parents. You don't have the money or resources to get them the quality care that they deserve. And then you have to put them in a nursing home that's like state funded. And here, the nursing homes are horrible. They just drug them up and pump drugs into them and want them to pass so they could save the bed for somebody else. I'm telling you, it's all capitalistic. Capitalists own the nursing homes and even the funeral homes too. They just, oh, we gonna get rid of this person so we can get the next person in bed. But how about we all have money, and in that way, once we are able and we can save for it, if an emergency happens, we can be well taken care of, and we can take care of our loved ones without feeling the financial pressure. Tyra says, I'm very spiritual, but I still believe in God. But I don't consider myself to be a Christian, so this topic is in my lane. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Losing my religion. We rest until judgment day. Yep. I heard we're in the upper room. I don't know. There'd be so many different. I heard we'd be in a. I think I heard we're in a. Yeah, we rest, but then we're in a waiting room at purgatory. I don't know. There's so many different variations of that. But yes, Tawanda said I have older family members who put me down because their immediate family members are not helping them. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep. And then that's the thing, like people be jealous of how much you care for people because they want it for themselves too. My dad visited my mom in her dream the other day. He had lots of balloons and stuffed animals, and he handed her money in the dream. I think it's a sign that something big and amazing is coming. Yes. Yep. And he came in her dream, and I believe that he was there in reality. That's my belief too. And I'm telling y'all, like, a lot of the things that are happening in life, it's not okay. I'm gonna give y'all a story too. I'm still here. Yeah, I'm gonna just be talking because again, I'm not going live today. Tomorrow, and then I have a pre-recorded video on Tuesday. So y'all, if y'all catching the replay, I just gonna watch the whole thing and skip through it or whatever. But I'm gonna tell y'all, this is how I believe that things don't happen just for nothing, and that when you're walking in your purpose, or like even anything that happens, good or bad, and even in death, that it's all gonna work out for the greater good of something better. It's all chained together. I'm telling y'all. Even the bad things that we went through in life and all the bad things, all the worst things you can imagine in the world. And I feel like that truly is the human experience, and that eventually people will come out of it better and greater. That's just my belief. Again, some people might believe differently, but I just believe that. But I'm gonna tell y'all a little quick thing, just some quick thing that happened to me this week. So y'all know Dom and I got this new place, right? So they had asked us for a deposit of like 1,200 something, because in BC how it works is you have to pay the first month, half of the first month's rent as a deposit, and the first month of rent. But the thing is that we were supposed to get the second month free, so then we thought that we would just have to pay the deposit and then we could pay the second month after, right? Or the I guess the yeah, because the deposit covers the first month, which is February, because we move in February 1st, and then we get the second month free. And then we thought that we were going to have to do the paycheck in April. So that's was our thought. So we're like, okay, we have time to save up the rest of the money, which is like about 2,000 something. And then they emailed us and they said, what they said, they were like, oh, what they said to us, you got to have all the money at once. All at once. And I was like, what? They're like, yeah, because what we do is you pay the deposit first and that's fine, but we also need a certified check or money order for the third month so we can have the money at the head. They want to know that you got the money. And we're like, okay, we can have that. But then at the same time, our money was a bit tied up. That's what I would say. It was tied up. And we were like, okay, we can save up for it. But this is the kicker. If it was February 1st, we would have had everything ready. That was the original plan. However, we had gotten my mom's furniture. And they were like, okay, like the mover would have to move the week before, because the problem is my mom is leaving on the 31st and we're moving in the 1st, but we got to be out of our apartment by on the 31st. So then that means on the 25th, the weekend before, we got to be like, all the furniture needs to be out. And so we're like, dang, we got to have the money ready by the 25th. However, everything would have been prepared for the 1st, and they need the money. And she reiterated, she was like, you got to have everything ready the day you move in, which is the 25th. We do our soft move in, and then everything else is done afterwards. So we were panicking a little bit, and we're like, where are we going to find this money? And yes, we do have savings, but that was for something else. Let's just put it that way. And so we were like, okay, like we got to figure this out. And so basically what ended up happening was that, y'all, how I got my tuition reimbursement 2 days ago. Remember I told y'all my job was going to pay for my school? How about they sent me a really nice $5,000 check right when I needed it, right when we needed it, right when we needed it. I'm going to repeat that again. Right when we needed it. Because mind you, we still got bills to pay. And again, we were going to have the money ready for the 1st, not for the 25th. But we need to move in on the 25th because my mom's leaving on the 31st. And that's the day that I also have to have my clean out inspection to leave this place. So I know it sounds trivial. It's like something small. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, literally 2 days ago, $5,000 check in my damn mailbox, sitting there. So I'm gonna have the money, right? And then when I went to the bank, they're like, oh, it's gonna take 3 days to clear. You're gonna have it by Tuesday. I move on Saturday. Saturday, I gotta have the money ready because we gotta move in early to move all the furniture. And remember, my mom, I don't know if I told y'all, Dom and I, first of all, we did not know that we were gonna be blessed like this because the furniture my mom has is brand new. She bought it brand new, but she couldn't move it to where she's going now. She's moving with my dad. They purchased a place. And so hold on, Tyra, did you promote the Discord? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Tyra. Look at Tyra. Look at Tyra doing the Lord's work. Yes, Twanda, please join the Discord. I should have said that already. I'm so sorry, sis. The description is in the link is in my description box. You just click on it. It's called Abracadabra Connect Discord. Click on the link and then I will accept you into the Discord. Like I'll give you a membership thing and then you'll be able to talk freely to us and you can hang with us and stuff. All y'all, especially if you are new to this channel, please join the Discord, or if you're hesitating, please join. That's where I'll be. Oh, dang. I was supposed to do, oh, it's already 4:00. Okay, we're gonna do the Squid Game watch right after this live. I've been yapping for too long. But anyway, the money came right on time, y'all. Right on time. And this is why I say nothing happens by happenstance. And same thing with you, Tyra. Like you said, your dad came in your mom's dream with money and gifts. That's not by happenstance. Everything is connected. I'm telling y'all, whether you believe in Jesus, God, the universe, whoever, Krishna, Muhammad, Allah, I don't know. But what I will say is this: it doesn't matter who you are. It don't matter. It don't matter. He doesn't care who you are, because I've seen Muslims get blessed just like Christians get blessed. I've seen Jewish people get blessed just like non-Jewish people get blessed. I've seen Jewish people suffer, people in Palestine suffer. I've seen especially us Black people suffer. Everyone, Asians, there's no one is absolved. Hell, even Jesus suffered according to the Bible. So it's like at the end of the day, oh, my bad, y'all. My buzzer. Y'all still here? My bad, y'all. My bad, y'all. My buzzer went off. I had to open the door. I think it's a delivery. Can y'all hear me? Please say yes. I hope so. I hope y'all can hear me. Did I lose you? Okay, yeah. So at the end of the day, I will tell you guys one thing, and then I'm gonna depart because I was been supposed to go on Discord for the Squid Game. They probably waiting for me. But what I will say is this: that when I was going through my little moments of like questioning my religion. I was questioning Christianity. I was questioning everything. And you should question everything. 100% you should. You should question. I don't care what anyone says. You should question what you believe in. Everything you believe in, you need to question it. Question it. Make it stand. You have to. You have to. Because I don't care what anyone says. And I used to hate when I used to question things. When I was a kid, I was very, very, let me tell you, I was very inquisitive. I'd be like, why we have to do that? Why we got to do this? And people would just be like, well, you just have to have faith. Yes, faith is amazing and it's great. But you also need to know why you believe too. You need to know why you believe. And some people think that, oh, if you start questioning God, that's going to mean that your faith is not strong and you're going to not believe it. No, because if it holds true, then it will get stronger. And that's somebody that's talking that has, like, at one point, I literally was so agnostic that I didn't want to hear nothing about religion. I was over it. But then it held true for me. And that's when I started having the belief that, you know what? This thing, I don't know what it is. We may not all agree, but what we can agree on is there's somebody up there. That's the issue with Christian spaces. Like, they have the right idea, but you need to explain why. Exactly. But nobody wants to do the work because they don't want. The problem is people think that if you start questioning things, that means that you're not believing. And then if you don't believe in it, then that means that you're going to be an infidel and that you can't question God. And you just have to do whatever it is. But to be honest with you, even if you look in the Old Testament, in the book of Job, they questioned God. They did. They literally had dialogues with him. And that's what I'm saying. It's culture. It's cults. Cults become prominent because of culture, because somebody believes something and this is how you have to do because of their interpretation of the holy book, and that you have to follow it based on their interpretation or the pastor's interpretation or the church's interpretation, but not really what it was supposed to be. And you could read the same text. Like, if I gave y'all a Bible verse right now, you guys would have so many different interpretations, different from mine. And it's crazy, right? But then if I'm a pastor, you got to follow what I say. My interpretation is best. And of course, some people, like, they're spiritually led. I'm not saying all pastors are bad, because some people are really for the Lord, but a lot of them aren't. They're just for the power. God wants us to come to him. He wants loyal followers that sought him out, not the ones who are forced to join him. Exactly. In the Bible, there's a scripture that says, test the spirit by the spirit. Yep. That's what you got to do. So that's why I don't like when people say don't test. You have to test. Do you believe that the Bible is God's inspired word? Ooh, child. Her creative mind. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. Hold on a second. I'm going to tell you. Jesus encouraged us to ask questions and grapple with the word mysteries of his Father God. Amen. Do I believe that the Bible is God's inspired word? Ooh, this is getting juicy. This laugh is getting juicy. Y'all putting me out there. Thank you, her creative mind. I gotta answer this honestly, and this is my opinion again. Doesn't have to be your reality, and I know that we can agree to disagree. Do I believe that the Bible is God's inspired word? I ain't gonna lie to you, sis. I'm grappling with that right now. You called me out. I've been grappling with that. Think, Tyra, you and I, my Aquarius sister, you and I are the same. It's written by men, my opinion, some of it. Yes. Honestly, you're right, her creative mind. You know what? I'm glad you put me on the spot, because I have to explain that that's something I struggle with right now. And that's why I put keeping the faith thing in my Discord. I'm struggling with that because I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I'm not gonna hold y'all. I have way too many questions. My questions are a lot. Do I believe that God is real? Absolutely. That's unquestionable. Do I believe Jesus existed? Unquestionable. I do believe that. Now, is it God's inspired word? According to the Bible, it is. However, big however, I'll just give a little tidbit of it and I'll leave y'all with these crumbs. However, the more research I do, the more I get very nervous, because one, y'all know that there were books missing from the Bible, right? That the one we were given is not even the whole entire version that was there. And their explanation was that when they sat down at the council of, I think, council of, oh, I forgot what the name of it is, council of something. I think, was it Panacea or something, or Manacea? Hold on, council of, girl, uh, you said yes, he's real, I love him. That's what I, exactly. When they were, okay, when the Bible, how the Bible came into existence, they saw that there were a lot of scrolls that they discovered. And then they decided to make it into a canon. And so people from a particular church in a particular sect gave us the Bible that we know of today. Now, do I believe that everything in the Bible is real? Again, I grapple with it. I believe that there's something missing, in my opinion. My opinion only. My opinion only. Based on the research that I've done. Y'all know I like to research. Y'all know I like to discover things and uncover things. And I went down that rabbit hole. I need to check his work. I went down, when I tell y'all, I went down to in such a rabbit hole that it got scary, and I had to stop. I had to stop myself because I knew that if I kept going down this rabbit hole, I was going to put myself in a situation where I would be going crazy. I was starting to go insane. I'm talking about deep diving every night, staying up all night hours. That was a few years ago, like years ago, when I was going through my moments of like losing my faith. I researched. And you know who made the Bible make sense to me? It was apologists. I don't know if you guys heard Christian apologists, like Vidi. I think his name is Vidi Butron. He's amazing. Boutrod or something. I need to check out Israel Anderson. But a lot of apologists put things into perspective, and scientists too. So I know God exists for sure. That's not a question. And it makes sense why Jesus was sent to earth. Because if you look at the concept of humanity, sin, and somebody atoning for it, it makes perfect sense. Logically. Right? So that makes sense. However, I will say that the book we were given, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I'm not gonna hold y'all to answer your question. I know I'm talking in circles. I don't think it was the book that we have. I'm not saying the Bible doesn't exist. But I'm just saying that, again, my opinion, there's a high possibility that there's a lot of compromising going on in there. The one that we were given. My opinion only. And that's just my opinion, again, because, again, that book is very powerful. The Bible is extremely powerful. And when you look at how it's used, and again, I could be wrong, but based on my research, there are books that are missing. And they said that the Ethiopian Bible is actually the most accurate version of Bible that there is in the world. And it's hidden somewhere in Ethiopia. So, and it doesn't match the Bible that we have. And also Ethiopia, their years are back. They go by the biblical years. We go by the I think ours is all based on Roman calendar and solar. And Ethiopia is a few years back from us. No judgment at all, Romy. According to Philippians 2:12, we all have to work out our own salvation with fear and trembling. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, does that mean I don't believe in the Bible itself? No, I know the Bible's real. I know that a lot of things were written, but do I feel like is the correct version? I feel like it's incomplete, in honesty, because I always feel like there's something missing whenever I read it. My opinion only. And even the New Testament, like you saw Jesus left, and then all of a sudden Paul came into the play, and then all of a sudden it became about, like, like it was showing Paul's journey throughout the whole throughout everything. And that's why I said, like, I believe in it in the sense that, like, when Paul preaches and he talks about, like, even the fruit of the spirit and all those things are true. So I know it's real. 100%. And I know that there are a lot of biblical things in the Bible that make sense, and even Old and New Testament. However, what I will say is that I don't know like why I always feel like we weren't given the right, like everything that we were supposed to be given. And that's just me. Maybe I'm just a conspiracy theorist, but I just think that it would be too easy. That's just my opinion. It would be too easy. And in this capitalistic world, the way that things are going, they need us to be submissive. And unfortunately, as Christians, we have been taught to be sheep, which is not a bad thing when you're following the right person. But the problem is that when we use Christianity, it's more of a power thing more than what it's supposed to be. And maybe that's why I have a problem reconciling it, because I just see it as a form of control. Modern Christianity, I should say. Modern Christianity is seen as a form of control to me, in my opinion. In my opinion, it's seen as a form of control. Modern Christianity. So to answer your question, is it inspired by God? Yeah, perhaps. I believe it. Some people do believe that's why there are codes and only certain people know. I don't know, but it's interesting. Yep. I'm telling y'all, it's all connected. All connected. And every religion has a savior. So we know that one exists. Everyone has the same story, just different characters, different fonts. Same story, different fonts. Through prayer and fasting, we are able to build a more intimate relationship with God, and the Holy Spirit helps us with discernment. I agree with that. Her creative mind. Oh, little mama, you was gone. No wonder you was crying. You were quiet. Glad you're back, girl. I gotta get on the thing for the Squid Game. But what I will say is this too. Her creative mind, you're right. Fasting, and that's why I said there are a lot of principles in the Bible that are true, and that's why I believe it is the written word of God. However, do I believe that it's completely complete? I don't believe it's complete. I believe that there are certain things that are missed, that are left out. Fasting does help you clear your mind. It gives you clarity. Every time I have fasted, I have connected with spirituality on a different level, and I connected with God. I feel like I could talk to him more. But you see, okay, for example, I'm only going to be here 10 more minutes, I promise y'all. For example, when people used to say, oh, you're just going to hear God and he's going to speak to you. I ain't never heard God's voice. Never. I'm being honest with y'all. I've never heard him. I don't know if I'm just aloof. I've never heard him. But hearing him is not the problem. The problem is they didn't explain to me that you can see him and feel him in different ways. You don't have to hear him. You don't have to hear him. Thanks, Tyra. I'm going to pin this. Can I pin it? Can I pin it? No, I can't pin it. Okay, I'm gonna have to pin it on my computer. But thanks, Tyra, for shouting out the Discord. Please join it because I'll talk more about this in depth in some of my conversations. But what I will say is that they say, oh, you're supposed to hear God. Yeah, I get signs. Thank you. Everyone has a relationship with God in a different level. And people made it seem like if I didn't go to church every Sunday, I wouldn't be blessed. And that's far from the truth. I've been blessed. I did an experiment. I'm telling y'all, I'm crazy. I did an experiment with God. I was like, look, I'm not going to church. I'm not going to read my Bible. I'm not going to pray. And let's see if I still get blessed. Because I see the atheists getting blessed. And look at Trump. But then they did say it's easier for a rich man getting into heaven. It's easier for a camel to go through a needle than a rich man getting into heaven. So I guess that everyone hears God differently. Exactly. But they didn't explain that to me, the depths through your. They didn't. They made it seem like it was an audible voice. God will speak to your heart and give you the truth. And yes, he will speak to you in signs and wonders. Exactly. I didn't know that. They made it seem like, oh, you can hear him. Some people be like, oh, I have a conversation with God and all these things. And I used to think I was a bad Christian because I couldn't hear him. And I'm like, how come they can hear God and I can't? Is it because I'm different? Is it because, I lived in sin before? Is it because I'm not close enough? Am I praying? I'm not praying enough. And eventually I gave up and I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to do anything. I'm going to experiment this. Y'all, I was still blessed. Period. And that lets me know that God had mercy on me. Because Lord knows, I was just living my life. When I met Dom, I was actually, let me tell y'all, when I left Jeonju, after I left Jeonju, I didn't go to church at all. In Seoul, I would go here and there, but I was like out of it. I was like, yeah, like, I was just focused on school. I was just living my life. I was like, you know what? We're just gonna put that to the side. And I met my husband during that time. And so I believe that God, like, if you're distant from God, he will connect you back to him in some way, shape, or form. So you don't have to worry about that. I had a pastor call my sisters and I out in front of the church because we weren't safe speaking in tongues like them. Right, Tyra? Ooh, I'm gonna tell y'all about an experience I had at a church. This man expected me to fall out. I've never spoken in tongues. And some people say, oh, it's because you just never let yourself go. Like, you got to let your mind go. I'm like, no, it's not that. It's like some people just don't have that gift. I don't have the gift of speaking in tongues. Is it bad that I don't know? It's a spiritual gift. So why do I need to have it if it ain't for me? For me, it's more of dreams. Sometimes I get dreams. I used to have a lot of dreams and premonition. Some people operate differently, and I wish the church valued other people's gifts. We don't all have to hear the same voice. And then some people will be like, oh, like, they'll say different things. And one thing I will say, though, is to y'all, if you're living in sin can be anything, because we all fall short. Let's just put it that way. But actively living in sin. I think that this is a controversial, and girl, I think that some of these people's they do be faking it, girl, just to look good in front of them folks. That's why I said I stopped doing it, because I felt like it was a competition. It was a competition. Who can speak the tongues the most? Who can pray the hardest? I don't like that. I want it to be from the heart, right? What I will say is, though, like, God is merciful. I'll just say that. God is very merciful. And if you find yourself struggling, then it's okay. He still got you. You'll find your way back to him. You don't have to worry about it. I stopped worrying about those kind of things. Yeah, the answer is no. Exactly. They just be really exactly. And half of them passes, we gonna get okay. One day, you know what? I'm gonna do a series on cultures and religion. We gonna do that because that's a big one. How different cultures approach religion. That's gonna be a really good one. That's a future series because I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it and how the church is used as a haven for predators. Let's speak about it. Predators. Not all churches, but a lot of churches have a lot of predators and predatory behavior. Rapists, we don't talk about it. And it's because, again, if you're interpreting the text in a different way, you're going to have that kind of mindset. They do. And they don't like, because you're not questioning anything. So of course you're gonna just go and do whatever. You can't have discernment. You can see something and be like, something's wrong. But you can't say anything about it because then you're gonna be shunned. He loves it and he thrives there. And if your leader is not strong enough, or he's trying to be with the in crowd, it's not gonna work for you. It's not. And any human can fall short of that. So that's why I just say church is for community. That's usually what I say. I could hear the word, but guess what? I'll read it myself. I know some people are like, oh, but you'll be misguided. That's okay. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. That's just my mindset right now. But it's all about community. I'm telling you. It's just about having like-minded believers. But everyone's going to interpret it differently. And I think that it's really hard to find a really good pastor these days because a lot of them are corrupted. And they just see what other pastors do and they want the fame and especially with the prosperity churches and stuff. It's hard to find a really good church. I'm telling y'all. It's either they're fame hungry, power hungry, or sometimes they just they're too weak and they let other people run the church. And the thing is, sometimes really good pastors are too good, and then other people with evil intentions try to run the church and they run it down. And I have a lot of church hurt, so maybe that's it too. Maybe that's why I'm very cynical about it. Yep, you must know God. Absolutely, I'm very cynical because I've had church hurt. I've had a lot of church hurt in my life, and church hurt is a real thing. I've been so disappointed by the church to the point where I don't even know how I'm still Christian, to be quite honest with you. But it's by the grace of God that I am. And also I believe in him so much because, again, I experienced it for myself. And when I'm telling y'all, when I experienced God for myself and I experienced his goodness for myself without any influence from my parents, the church, nothing. When he took me out of where I was, he's taken me out of so many bad situations and he's placed me to the life that I have now. It can't be nothing but God. That's how I know he's real. A girl like me, nah, I wasn't supposed to be this successful, y'all. Yeah, I went to church and they had TV monitors all over the room and had full televised. Yeah, it's a production. It's a production. I used to watch this pastor. Your mother was a pastor? I want to hear about that. Yo, my parents were heavy in the church. And this is the thing, like when you grow up as a PK or a child of somebody who grew up in the church or a deacon's child, you can see the church for what it really is because you see all the business that's going on in the background. That's amazing that your mom was a pastor. It's so many levels to it. And I'm telling y'all, like, it's it's a lot. And a lot of us like had to find God our own way because again, when you're raised in religion, it's like you're taught to believe in God because that's what your parents believed in. That's what their parents believed in. Fun fact, by the way, if you guys didn't know, my grandparents actually converted to Christianity. They weren't Christian. They were voodoo. They were into voodoo religion. My ancestors were voodoo worshippers. And so my grandma and grandpa were heavy into voodoo, and they used to sacrifice food to the dark side. And they used to do a lot of rituals in Haiti. That was the case back then. And then Christian missionaries came and visited us in Haiti. And then my grandma converted and my grandpa converted. And that's how we became Christian. So I'm only second generation Christian. I'm not even, my family's not, we don't even have a Christian history. Show true about what's happening behind the scenes. It's a lot. Jesus critiqued the Pharisees and told them that their father was the devil and they worship money. Exactly. That's why I believe him. Because Jesus is me. Jesus was a rebel, man. Jesus was definitely the first, like, he was the first, like, I guess, how can I say it? He was a vigilante. Let's just put it that way. I believe Jesus would have been super critical of the modern day church. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, y'all. My nose was stuffy. But yeah, God is so good. Yeah, I'm second generation Christian. So I'm new to this, y'all. I'm a baby. Second generation Christian. My parents, my even on my mom's side, my grandpa's Christian, but his parents weren't Christian. So it's like, it's still new to us. But then again, like, that's why I say that wow, I'm favored because God really like looked out for your girl. And I'm telling y'all, I have a lot of stories I could give a testimony about, but yeah, I struggle. Yeah, now you understand, right? Yeah, exactly. Now you see why, because I didn't have that. Like, my parents were new to it, so they just saw what, again, the missionaries taught them, and then what, people in the community started converting together. So they didn't know what they was doing. They was just doing whatever. And whatever stuck is stuck. And then they taught their kids, and then now me. So it's like, I'm still new to it, but I just praise God in different ways, and I know he's real, and I know he won't hold it against me because I believe that God is a loving God. I know some people say vengeance is mine, says the Lord. He doesn't like evil things, absolutely. But does he have a heart of forgiveness? Absolutely, I believe so. I believe without a doubt. And he loves us all the same. No matter where you are, who you are, what creed you are, what race you are, sexuality, whatever it is, he still loves you no matter what. Well, I can't say no matter what, but he still loves you. Because I can't speak for him, obviously, or her. We don't know. Him, her, they, listen, again. My family is second generation Christian too. God loves absolutely the spirit of the Lord. So you can't even assign a sex to him, technically, but we'll just say him for the purposes of it. But yeah, y'all, it's a deep conversation, y'all. Anyway, I'm gonna have to get going. I've been here for a long time, but I love this conversation. Sometimes we'll have conversations like these. I think it's very necessary. And thank you for asking me these deep questions. It made me really think. And also, maybe God wanted me to start thinking like, what's going on? Do you believe in my word? And I'm like, well, you put me on the spot. So thank you. Y'all don't put me on the spot, but you know what? Maybe it's related to my growth. Maybe it's time for me to revisit because I'm telling y'all, I've been ignoring it for so long. I was born Southern Baptist, but at the age of 5, my mom joined the Pentecostal church. Oh, yeah. Oh, we have the same experience. It's similar. I was raised Baptist, but my mom is Pentecostal as well. So even her, like she's in, like she's. We don't talk about that. My mom is near cultish with the church. Like she's like, she be my mom and my dad approach religion so differently, and it's so crazy to me like how different it is, like especially with Baptist churches, which are more rigid and strict, whereas Pentecostal, they're more free and more livelier. And then you also have the 7-day child. That's another story. Then you also have the Methodists who believe you're not supposed to wear earrings. That's what I'm saying. Everybody interprets it differently. And then like if I wear earrings, it's like, oh, you're wearing a mark and da da da. It's like y'all just everybody come up with their own cultural rules, sure. But I just say that I just believe in God. I believe in Jesus. That's the foundation. That's the foundation. That's foundation enough for me. Y'all should for real check out. I'm gonna check it out. I'm going to, and we should have a chat about it. Let's chat about it in the Discord. I'm gonna watch it, and then I'm gonna create a thread about it because I'm very interested to hear it. Yeah, I'm very interested. Maybe this is gonna be my awakening moment. We don't know, y'all. In 5 years, I'll come back, and I'll be like, y'all, guess what I found out? Anyway, all right, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all go. I was supposed to go and do the Squid Game. Okay, y'all join me in the Discord if you're gonna watch a Squid Game. I'm about to pump it up right now. Thank you guys for joining me. It was such a great conversation. I won't be going live tomorrow because I went live today. And again, for those who missed, please like the replay. I had made up my mind that I'm going to cancel the membership. Again, I feel it in my heart that everyone should get information that I'm giving. And I don't want to just make it members free only and all that stuff. I just felt really bad about it. I don't know why, like, because in the beginning, again, it was because I wanted to keep some things private, but then I feel like we have the Discord already, and we'll just find different ways to kind of manage it. I kind of want to make my brand more inclusive, I guess, and accessible to all. And yeah, and I'll find other ways to do different things, but I just feel like right now it's good for us to connect with each other and not have barriers. And yeah, that's how I am. So yes, please join the Discord. It's going to change a little bit, but I'm gonna keep it the structure it is, and then I'll make it more inclusive, and we gonna have really good conversations on this channel as well as the Discord. But anywho, have a great night. Have a great night, y'all. Yeah, let me go. Let me go and set up the Squid Game thing. All right, y'all. See y'all and see y'all next week for the live. Yeah, see y'all next week. All right, we'll see you. Have a good evening. Bye, y'all. Thanks, little mama. Bye, y'all. Bye, bye.